Hey everyone, it's John Trent from Bounding into Comics, and I'm joined by my co-host Philip Pratt tonight. How's it going, Philip?
Hey, what's up?
It's a lovely evening, winter, and seems to be coming quickly here to Virginia. I saw a local forecast for Tuesday. We might get some snow.
Snow.
So, yeah.
What is snow?
Yeah, you don't have that down there in Florida, do you?
No, not for many, many years.
Yeah, we get that from time to time here in Virginia. So, hey everyone in the chat. Hey Mark. Hey Rosetta. Hey Script Doctor. How y'all doing tonight? Might be just Phil and I tonight. I know Don is working extra hard, and Drew is occupied as well, and Jorge has some work stuff that he's working on, but. Don and Jorge might be able to join us, and Drew said he might too. So we'll see what happens. They might join us later.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It's always fun having the guys around.
Yeah, but we're gonna have some fun here with us and in the chat. Should be a fun time. Oh, hey Dobbin, how you doing tonight? Got the crew here. So, do you want to start off talking about the Batman casting rumors? I know you were being a little sarcastic about about talking about rumors. Whether or not those are newsworthy or not.
I saw what you went through over this past week with that. That was straight nonsense. It didn't even make sense. People complaining about you basically reposting rumors from the other sites are running at the same time. So I was like, it's a rumor. It says rumor in the post. What are you upset about? Like, I understand if he's saying this is happening. No, it says rumor.
Yeah.
And you report about that. I mean, it's normal.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And what's crazy is like those complaints come from people who run entertainment websites as well. Like the people who are like complaining were two other people who like one guy they both run entertainment websites. The two big ones were the guy like I was retweeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was just like, and he like admitted he runs rumors too. He just didn't like that we ran the rumor from a certain source.
It's not his business. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is really none of his business.
Yeah.
What he saw is we're starting to get noticed by people, and they want to find ways to push you to basically punch down. They have a bigger reach and a bigger audience. So anything they see, it'll get traction. Even if it's only 10% of their, let's say 100,000 followers, that's still a lot of people that are seeing it. And of course, they're going to have something to say because it's Twitter. I got involved in some Twitter nonsense earlier today for Norman. It's just the way that's the nature of the beast. You just have to roll with it. I think you did a good job. It's like,
yeah,
you didn't go after them. You just basically, it's like, it's a rumor. It's rumors. Rumor is news. It's especially if you say it's a rumor. It's not a big deal. It's so.
Yeah, they're just getting their panties in a twist in a bunch. Yeah, so there's been what do we got? We got like 3 rumors like back to back almost, all from different sources, all from different publications. So I think the first one was actually Matthew McConaughey with Two-Face from the Daily Mail, and it didn't get that big. I don't think a lot of people I didn't see it a lot. Maybe because it came from the Daily Mail rather than your typical Hollywood trades. So what do you make of that one?
But it's always fun to talk about that stuff because if it's true or not, it's still speculation, and it's always fun to talk about. So all we do, we're comic book guys, we speculate. It's fun.
Yeah.
The idea of Matthew McConaughey as Two-Face, he's a prolific actor. I think he can pull off just about anything, but in all of Matthew McConaughey's roles, he's still kind of playing Matthew McConaughey. I'm not sure if that energy works with Two-Face because he's supposed to be this half of him started out as this upstanding citizen, this stone hard DA that gets his man, and the other one's a stone hard criminal. I think he could play off the criminal part really slick. I just don't see him playing off the rigid, district attorney type.
Yeah, I mean, I think of like the Lincoln Lawyer, and he was always trying to push the rules, push the boundaries. He was like working the system. He was finding ways to get around it, and that's kind of like where it's hard to see him like being that stiff guy. I've never really seen him be that like rigid, stiff guy who's like knuckling down and I'm gonna get the guy no matter what. Like you just dazed and confused. What does he say? All right, all right, all right.
All right. That's the thing, because that's how Two-Face works. Half of him was so rigid he broke. That was
Right.
that's part of the character. He was so sure of himself and sure this is right and this is wrong. That's what broke him. It broke his personality, because he didn't allow his other side to break out. And Matthew McConaughey is kind of always that other side, that always kind of really loose and like. Listen, Mark down here says, I don't see him as Two-Face. It's like, I don't really see. I see him as Two-Face. I don't see him as Harvey Dent, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. What was that? He's in that like he's in this like one romantic comedy, Failure to Launch, and he's playing that like loosey goosey like type character there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even in what was the one with he had like it was like he played like a minor role. It was in Wolf of Wall Street,
right?
Where he plays
Same
like
guy.
Yeah, same kind of like pushing the rules and stuff. That's who he plays.
Interstellar. That was a really rigid role, and he was still Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, yeah. Dobbin just brought that up too in the chat.
Yeah.
So yeah. Interstellar was I did not like that movie.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I did. I liked it all the way up until they decided to do the weird, like interdimensional, like space behind the light.
That took me a couple of watches to understand what was happening.
Yeah,
and to be honest, I still don't quite get it, but I like the movie as it was. Like there were parts of that movie that were stupid epic, like the wave on planet.
Yes,
where they thought the horizon was a horizon, and they saw it getting closer.
The Matt Damon twist was really good too.
I didn't see that coming. Yeah,
the whole like when they were like the aging, I like that too. With like everything up until the point where he goes into the wormhole, I was like, great movie. And then I was just like,
it's like pretty trippy.
I need to get up and leave. This is I'm done. You had like a really good like story, and then they just like it went off. I just felt like it went off the rails.
Yeah, the landing didn't stick as well as I thought as it could have. But
yeah,
I thought the movie as a whole, even though it was really long, I remember it being very long.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. I wouldn't mind going back to that universe to explore the story some more, especially now that they have they established the rules. I don't have to go through that whole mind bending thing again. So.
Yeah,
Astronaut in the Bookcase sequel.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is ridiculous. Because the movie was so serious up until that point, and I just thought it just went into like this. It just got ridiculous. But yeah, no, I guess he was pretty rigid in that. He had a mission. I don't know if it was. It's not like Harvey Dent like rigid though. Like a cutthroat lawyer or a cutthroat AD who's just gotta who's gonna like put you away even if you're innocent, kind of thing. Or even like if he thinks he's just like that's what I don't know. Maybe do you see Harvey Dent as that as like he's gonna put you away even if he sniffs that you might be a criminal even though you're innocent?
Here's the thing about Harvey Dent. Him playing Harvey Dent, I should say. I can see him pulling off a court scene really cool and being really dynamic but the other side, that Harvey Dent is half attorney, almost half politician. Like I think he was being ready to run for mayor in a couple iterations of the character, even in the comic books.
The Telltale Games that he's running as a politician as well.
Yeah, and that's the part I don't really get. Him seeing Matthew McConaughey as a lawyer. I can, as a prosecutor, sure. I just don't see that personality being so rigid to where it breaks and becomes a split. Harvey Dent, I'm just still trying to see him play it. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he can. I'm not being negative and saying I don't believe he can. I'm just having a hard time believing that he's going to be able to pull it off of what I've seen of him so far and knowing what the character is. So.
Yeah, I also find it interesting that they would go with like that McConaughey is being rumored, especially since we like all the rumors with like Batman and Catwoman was like it had to be like this young 30s, late 20s style. You would think maybe Dent would be around the same age. I always figured like Bruce Wayne and Dent were kind of similar in age, maybe like a couple years older. Maybe like
Yeah,
max like 5.
I agree.
McConaughey he's pushing. I think he's like pushing 50, right?
He's pushing
Uh,
60. I think he's in his 50s now, isn't he?
Yeah, I would. He has to be up there over around there. So yeah, that's like a 20-year gap between Dent and Bruce Wayne would be. So yeah. So
He's
that
50.
I thought that was interesting too.
He is 50. He's 50.
Oh, he's 50. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. What's the script doctor say?
He says, I've always found Harvey Dent as a guy with a moral struggle, wants to do good, but doesn't like having to take wrong tactics to do what we all know is right.
That would make sense because he's so strong against doing wrong that a part of him deep down knows it needs to get done. And that's where it's split in him. And he knows. So Harvey Dent isn't doing the wrong thing. It's Two-Face doing the wrong thing. And when he found out that he's the same person, it's what, or you see him, breaking slowly as it happens. So,
yeah, I think that answers the question that I had about he wouldn't try and put you away if he had an inkling that you were like associated with crime or something, but you were innocent. He would make sure that, hey, if you were innocent, he would try and make sure that you're innocent. He'd only go after the people who are like actually like the bad dudes, like Falcone and Maroni and all those people.
All those great names from the animated series.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's other actors. I think this is like the case with almost all of these Batman castings. I feel like there could be other people that could play them, but we'll see. I mean, Heath Ledger was really good, and I liked Affleck as Batman as well.
I never had a problem with him, other than the whole Batman not really acting like Batman. Like the Batman that we know, that he went almost to the grave, intentionally not trying to kill people, and then you had Affleck's Batman punching people's faces into the ground. Like that guy's dead.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that there's a case that we've had Chuck Dixon on here before, and he's talked about that. And I know I follow him on social media. He likes to talk about Batman isn't afraid, or I think Graham might talk about Batman's character more than Chuck does on social media. Graham Nolan, and he talks about how like Batman is the guy who's willing to like he'll break your bones, he'll smash your face in, but he won't kill you. Yeah. He'll get what he needs out of you. He'll teach you a lesson, but he won't kill you. Yeah, the Ben Affleck Batman he was mowing people down for sure.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was intentionally trying to kill you, but he wasn't not trying to kill you. Like
right. Yeah, I thought like the I guess in the Justice League they had that one scene with the parademon in the beginning, I guess. Mm-hmm. Or I think the parademon shows up when he's like torturing the guy in the beginning. Like he was like using the batarang to like drop the guy or whatever.
Yeah, he's holding him up.
So I thought that was actually like a pretty solid like scene, except like the dialogue wasn't very good. But the actual like scene of him like Batman doing that stuff, that's Batman.
Yeah.
Script Doctor says he thinks that McConaughey might have an issue with the Southern drawl.
Yeah,
with Harvey Dent. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think Harvey should not have a Southern drawl?
He's supposed to be a city slicker. He's supposed to be grown up in the big city. He's grown up in Gotham. This is where he came from. This is the city that he knows and loves, which he fights so hard for. If he's just a transplant that happened so late in life that he has a stuck accent, how much does he really have invested in Gotham? You didn't grow up here,
Yeah, I guess that Gotham is usually what Chicago and New York kind of mixed, right? So yeah, I guess that makes I buy that. Yeah.
But again, he's a great actor. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying they can write the character any way they want. Maybe they'll say he's actually from the South and he moved there, and it just kind of changes the character a little bit. But will it work? Sure. Can it work? I'm sure. Should it work? Maybe they could find someone a little bit more the role.
So I actually found what was interesting is about this this Two-Face rumor was that I think it was either Deadline had they had the Penguin rumor, I think, with Colin Farrell, but in their rumor they said that he was wrapping out the villain, so they were kind of like discounting Two-Face. But we did see that Two-Face rumor, that like kind of after the Joker, where they were like, "Oh, we might do like a Harvey Dent solo film,"
Right.
And obviously they went with an older actor with Joaquin Phoenix to play Joker. What could you see him doing his own thing without Batman?
Remember we talked about this a few weeks ago, the idea of them doing a Two-Face movie, and having
your idea was brilliant. They
having the two characters, or having Harvey Dent. You never called him Two-Face until the last maybe 10 or 15 minutes of the whole movie. Have him going after someone the entire time just to find out that the person he's been going after is himself.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So I think that would have been.
Could McConaughey play that role?
I think he's crazy enough to do that, especially because we won't have to see him as Two-Face too much. Maybe you'll see. That's the thing is, if you're trying to trick the audience, you can't have him talk because there's no way you're going to be able to disguise Matthew McConaughey's voice as Two-Face unless he's having someone stand in as himself and just find out at the end that the person is just a kind of like how they did with the Mandarin. It's like, this is not the guy; he's just a puppet, and he's been talking to who he thought was the boss the entire time, which turns out to be the DA.
Yeah, or they could put a mask on him or something like they did with Tom Hardy in Pain. Struggled to understand him a little bit.
Yeah, but I can see him doing, I guess something like that would make more sense because then you have more character development time. But at the same time, you're still going with, can Matthew McConaughey not be Matthew McConaughey? I don't know.
Yeah, was he in, what was that? HBO did that that crime. I think it's like that crime. It's like a crime show. Vince Vaughn was like on season 2, I think. Was McConaughey on that as well?
Yeah, True Crime.
True Crime, is that what it's called?
Or True Detective.
True Detective. Yeah, True Detective. Was he on that?
I think he had one season, but I didn't watch.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't know. I kind of like taking people who you don't expect to do certain roles and like kind of throwing them in there. Like they're great actors and just seeing like what they would do with it. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing McConaughey kind of like take on the Two-Face because it's something that's out of his normal comfort zone, something we haven't seen him kind of really do before.
Right.
So that would be interesting to me too. I always like seeing that, getting actors out of their comfort zone, and usually they surprise you with something really good, especially the good actors like Shia LaBeouf. I don't know, that guy's super good as an actor.
Very I think his personality is what kind of sabotages him a lot more than anything else. But
yeah, I think you're right there.
He's a pretty cool, like if you I'm not sure if you watched First We Feast interview he did with the Hot Ones.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's a really good interview. It's like you get to know him, what he's been doing in the past few years. He's still kind of nuts, but he's a genuine guy. He's just very serious about what he believes is what needs to happen. If something needs to happen the way he wants it to happen, he's going to push it until it does. And if it doesn't work, he's going to find a way to make it work. And that can probably be an issue with producers, especially making a movie. Like, no, we're not doing it this way. We're doing it this way, but it makes more sense this way. Well, we're not doing it that way, Shia. So
yeah, well, I think Joaquin. I think they ran into that on Joker with Joaquin. There was like, I don't know if it was like so there was reports that like, because he got like they made it seem like he got ambushed on like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or one of those night shows where like one of the producers was like was trying to get Joaquin to do something, and Joaquin was like telling him, like, was trying to like get in the zone or whatever,
right?
And had some strong words for him, and then after that aired, they were like, oh, that was all staged as like PR.
I remember seeing that kind of flipped out a little bit.
Yeah. So and it seemed like, he's just an intense actor. And you hear about that with like, I think Leto does some stuff like that too. He's like super intense on set and everying. So I don't know. I feel like that comes with the
Wesley Snipes did it with Blade, I heard, and then you had Heath Ledger he went dark after he went dark during when he was playing the Joker. Dark
Knight, yeah.
There was someone else that had said they needed to get Michael B. Jordan said he needed to
with Black Panther.
Yeah, he said he had to get therapy after he finished playing
Oh, really?
Killmonger. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it seems like that's kind of like a thing when they get in the minds of these villains.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Mark was asking. So they are having three villains in this. There's actually so right now we know confirmed that there's two. We know that there's Catwoman, and we know that there's Paul Dano is playing the Riddler. Those are confirmed. Um, there's been like this movie has had so many rumors attached to it with like the number of villains. Like we're talking about Two-Face. We're going to talk about Penguin here in a bit.
Yeah.
That's like the main one that's been rumored. But then there's also been rumors about like Mad Hatter, like early rumors like Bane could make an appearance. I mean, they're like
What
obviously
I
there
see
might
is
be some crime lords too with Falcone.
if they can do this right if they don't have them all as part of the movie. If they have Batman, visiting Arkham Asylum and they're all there, that would be pretty dope. I would love to see that. But they don't have to be part of the movie. They could just be there, and he has to encounter them, talk to them. Maybe he's walking past their cells, and he has to have like little one-liners back and forth, or they're just saying something. That's one thing. But to have that many, we haven't seen something like that since the Schumacher Batman movies.
Yeah. So from everything I've seen from like Matt Reeves, he's talking about it being like a detective story, getting Batman back into a detective story, getting him back to his like noir roots. So I see it more as like there's like something happening going on in Gotham. Maybe there's like people are like dying. We've been hearing stuff about like the Long Halloween. So there we had what it was like the calendar killer or something like that, the holiday killer. Holiday killer, and so he's going to like be investigating potentially like a Gotham crime war maybe that's raging between Penguin and Riddler or something like that. And so you see him like going in and investigating, and he like finds out something with like Riddler, and then it leads him to like the Penguin, and then he finds out that it's like none of those guys, and it's like some like big boss or whatever.
Sounds like Arkham Asylum.
The
video game, like you're just kind of wandering around the sandbox and figuring stuff out.
Yeah, it's similar to that too. I mean, I love that. I love
that first game was like changed my life. I was like, wow.
Asylum and City were so good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like I can see something like that where he's actually going around being a detective. He's following the clues. They lead him to one guy, and because maybe the person's like trying to. Like, you'd even see maybe like Penguin is trying to like set up Riddler or something like that to throw Batman off of his trail or something. So I can see that, but I mean, and if Two-Face is in it, it could just be Harvey Dent as well, and not actual Two-Face,
right?
And we might just get his like maybe turn at the end for like a Easter egg for a sequel or whatever.
I could dig that, yeah.
So I could see that. Script Doctor is saying, Holiday Killer, which was like 3 people. Thought it was Calendar Man. Might be a breadcrumb story. Yeah, I think that seems to be what I'm hearing, and that's what Matt Reeves has been saying, is that it's a detective story, and Batman is going to be doing like actual detective work. And I'm sure we'll get some pretty good fight scenes because I don't know if y'all seen the videos, but I guess Robert Pattinson has been working on his jiu-jitsu.
I don't understand that part. I know a little jiu-jitsu, and it's a great, it's a great art to learn, but it doesn't translate that well to the big screen. It's not. I mean, I think
judo would be better, right?
Judo and Taekwondo and maybe even Aikido, but I don't know about jiu-jitsu. I mean, what are we? Okay, I thought we were going to see him like do some weight training or something. I don't know about this jiu-jitsu stuff. Like, okay, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Like when Batman, you wouldn't see him like tossing people around and and throwing people like, and that's judo to me.
Judo and Aikido too, because Aikido is basically you're using their momentum against them. So that's what Batman does. He twists you around and you fly in other directions and hitting yourself and running into walls and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Not choke, rolling around on the floor, putting people in triangle chokes and Darce chokes, and Batman doesn't spend that much time on the ground. If he does, he's losing.
Yeah. That's for sure. So let's get into this Penguin rumor, because I think that's the most I think that's the most interesting one. So we had the rumor that Jonah Hill was either in the hunt for Penguin or Mad Hatter or potentially Riddler at the time, because I don't think Paul Dano had been cast yet. And then he backed out, and now we're hearing Colin Farrell.
That's a different type of Penguin. He doesn't
Penguin,
he doesn't look he looks like he could play a gangster for sure.
Yeah, he played Bullseye, right? In that old Daredevil movie.
Let's not bring that up again, please. But he can pull a gangster off, but Penguin's a very distinct type of gangster. I mean, the last time we saw a thin Penguin was during the Gotham show.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're kind of counting on, is that the image of Penguin has been changed with Gotham. I'm not sure that's true. I think Danny DeVito still is the ideal Penguin, and that's what people have in their mind, is that Danny DeVito Penguin. That's what I mean. I would probably say the Arkham games have had a bigger audience than Gotham, and that Penguin is like a DeVito style Penguin. That's what how he's depicted in the current I haven't read a Batman comic in a while, but that's how
short, stocky, and round.
Yeah, that's the Penguin. Script Doctor is saying he could fit Emperor Penguin. He was the tall, skinny one. I'm not sure about that, Script Doctor.
Look at this.
He's usually Penguin. short and stocky is what we're used to, and I think that's what's in the consciousness of Batman fans.
I agree. I think that's an easier way to sell it. You shouldn't have to explain to someone who they're looking at if they're going to be a main character. They should know who he is. Emperor Penguin. Yeah, he looks pretty. He's a pretty boy. Okay. Maybe he is Emperor Penguin. He does look like he could play Emperor Penguin for sure. I'm looking at him.
Yeah, I think I see a couple images. There's one guy's like in blue. He's got a blue face.
Blonde hair, tall, probably has abs. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
The sexy Penguin.
I'm going to do a screen share real quick so we can show everyone else what we're looking at. Hopefully it won't crash. All right, looks like we're good. All right. Y'all can see this guy?
Yeah, that's the one I found too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's what he looks like. Yeah, that definitely looks like it could be
Colin Farrell. Yeah.
For sure. So, yeah, I mean, maybe that's what we're seeing instead of Penguin. And Hollywood trades obviously aren't the most well-versed in comic book lore. So when they're saying Penguin, maybe it's Emperor Penguin.
Good call.
Yeah, that is a good call. Blue-eyed Scorpio says, as long as Morgan Freeman narrates him walking around.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love those documentaries anyway.
Yeah, I think you were getting to a good point there, though, and I think that's one of the problems that a lot of these adaptations I feel like are having recently, is that people don't know what the characters look like unless they're, and this is one of the criticisms we had of the Birds of Prey trailer. You don't know who those characters are because they're unrecognizable. I had no idea. Like when I look at that poster, like you couldn't tell it was Huntress. You couldn't tell it was Black Canary, and you had no idea that it was like Renee Montoya. Although her outfit isn't like extremely. I just
thought about how
unique, but
setting it. They made Black Canary black. They did. That just not a wow. I just never even thought about it that way before. It's like going back to the Power Rangers and making Zach the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
Treated the Yellow Ranger. It's like, wow, we're really doing this, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's
Black Manta is black too, I guess, and the Black Lightning, whatever. Okay. All right. Well,
those characters are older though.
Yeah.
That's just that's how that kind of. I mean, that's how they marketed it back then, right?
Right.
Not saying it was right, but how they did it. But yeah, I mean, well, we got Luke Cage, and
Yeah, but his name wasn't Black Luke Cage, so
right, I know. And his name was Power Man.
Power
It was
Man.
Power Man. It wasn't Black Power Man. It was Power Man. I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised they haven't created like a Black Hulk or something like that. I'm surprised that hasn't been pitched.
I don't know. Mr. Fix-It seemed a little ethnic to me sometimes. I don't know.
That's the gray one.
The gray one, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So Colin Farrell as Emperor Penguin. Do you like that or?
Now that I've seen Emperor Penguin, yeah, I think that's if they're going to go that route, that'd be pretty cool. I'm not sure. I have to read up more about who Emperor Penguin is, what relationship he has to Cobblepot, if there is any. But I like that idea now. If he's still playing normal Penguin, it's Colin Farrell. He can play. When it comes to like reach and his ability to play a role, I think he does a better job than Matthew McConaughey in terms of his how much he can actually what do you call that? I forgot what I'm trying to use, but I think he could pull it off. I mean, he's played parts where I could have sworn he's American, so I'm pretty sure he can pull something like this off. It's all about the script and what they do with that, the dialogue and how they play it all off. I think that can work out pretty well. They don't have to explain anything. I mean, if he looks different, he looks different. But if he plays the role right, I don't think anybody's going to care. It's just no one's going to look at Colin Farrell and say, "Oh, he's a Penguin." It's just
yeah. I think you're right, and I think when you're talking about like it's putting the emphasis on the script, and I think that is something that's like we as like fans kind of underestimate. I think a lot of it has to do with the script and like the direction that these actors get, and rather than them kind of just reading the script and like kind of interpreting it. I think a lot of it has to do with like the direction that they're getting on screen, based off of the script, to bring out that performance that you really want. It's just like at a sports team, you have to have a good coach in order to like make it to win the World Series or win the Stanley Cup or win the NFL championship. There's a reason why the Patriots win like every single year, right?
Yeah, they have a recipe. They stick to it, and they know when to get rid of people when they're not performing. They know what they're doing. They stick to it. They adjust and they keep it moving. That's what they do.
Yeah, they have a good script and they have a good coach.
Yeah, but but versatile actor. Yes, that was the word I was looking for. Script author thing. Versatility. He's much more versatile than Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell. But in terms of like being able to recognize a character versus how strong the script is. Look at what they did with Domino and Deadpool. You can look at that character and you can still tell it's Domino because of what they did. But she played the role very well because the script was good. And it wasn't, it was fun. It did feel like Domino. If anyone reads Domino, that's basically her, except Domino's a little bit more sexual than that. Well, way more sexual than that. But she played a very good, was her name ZZ or BB? Or what's her name?
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz, yeah.
She was in Joker too.
Yeah, she was in Joker. She's a great actress. She played the role really well. And at that point, they kind of juggled between being able to recognize the character and having it come off properly in the script. But to be honest, how much of the general audience really knew who Domino was before that? I mean, she wasn't. I mean,
she's not Deadpool.
Yeah, she's not the most prolific comic book character out there. People we know who she is, but most people had no idea.
So. General audiences have no idea who Domino was.
Yeah,
because I think that was her first time on screen.
It was
in live action. Yeah, I think Colin Farrell could do a good job. I think you're right on his acting abilities. I'm trying to think of like specifically like what films I've really seen him in.
Phone Booth. That was a great movie. That was a great one. I love Phone Booth. I've watched that several times.
I'm like, this is like one thing I'm like super bad at is like recalling films that actors are in. IMDb has this ad that like pops up now when you want to like.
Was Colin Farrell in Dumbo? I didn't watch Dumbo.
Yeah, he was in the new Dumbo. He was like the ringmaster, I think. I did not see that either.
Yeah.
Let's see here. He was also in True Detective 2015.
Well, True Detective, if you look at the track record for that for that show, I mean, how many of them have Academy Awards?
Yeah, I think most of them do, right?
I mean, if they were in True Detective, they probably won something or they will win something eventually. So
he was in that Total Recall remake. Okay,
that wasn't horrible. People gave them a lot of a lot of problems, but I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't
it was
wasn't
a
the best thing in the world.
summer action flick.
Yeah, it was fun to me, and it had Kate Beckinsale. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's all that really matters.
He was also in Saving Mr. Banks. It was a Disney movie about the creation of Mary Poppins. He plays Travers Goff, I think, who was her dad.
Okay.
It was a minor role, but he did a really good job in that too. And I don't think he had a lot of talking points, but it was the emotion that he conveyed. Okay. Now that I'm remembering that movie, the emotion he conveyed to his young daughter, even when there's a scene where he's on his deathbed, and that's something that I remember from that film is his role in that film, the emotion that he conveys to his daughter, and giving her this idea that to always reach for her dreams and stuff. Obviously a very Disney message, as it's a Disney movie, but yeah, that's something that really jumps out at me, and he could definitely, you were talking about that range and versatility,
right?
Definitely show that in that film as which is very different from his action role in Total Recall. So the other big Batman rumor was Andy Serkis as Alfred, which Serkis's name had been around the Penguin for 2 years. His name was swirling around the Penguin, and now it sounds like he landed Alfred. So I'm wondering if I mean, he was obviously attached to this project from the very beginning. I mean, him and Matt Reeves are very close. He played Caesar in all of for CGI in all of his Planet of the Apes films. So it's not surprising that Reeves would be, or Serkis would be here. But what do you think about him as Alfred?
If they're going after the same kind of Alfred that we saw in Gotham, I think that'll be great. I mean, that low key. Alfred,
okay, yeah, go on. Sorry.
That low key kind of I can kill everyone in the room, but I'm just gonna serve this tea instead kind of Alfred. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think he could pull it off very well, especially because the role it should be so minor. He's going to put a lot into it, and he's going to be memorable. So I think that's not a bad pairing at all, especially if it's a younger. The actor they have for Batman is young. He looks young. So Alfred's not going to be this old guy. He's going to be on the younger side because he should be about his father. He should be Bruce's father's age, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So he's going to be on the younger side, and I believe he could pull it off real well, especially if he has somewhat of a small hand in training Bruce a little bit. I think that'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. So I also I think you're saying he's low key where he could kill everyone. I wouldn't. I honestly think he might actually get involved and be a little bit more hands on with Bruce in the detective work potentially. With a younger Alfred, you might see him employ his skills that he learned with MI6 and the British intelligence and British Army. So I wouldn't. Serkis makes. We saw him. Obviously, he can do the action scenes as Ulysses Claw. So yeah, I think that's something we could see him do as well. If they decide to have him be more of a active component of Bruce's life rather than just being the butler.
Yeah, I agree.
Script Doctor has a better idea. Not a better idea, but he has an idea here. He says, "Why not have Serkis play Ra's al Ghul? Alfred is a fun character, but very thin compared to a villain that Serkis could really knock out of the park."
I agree. That'd be cool, but we kind of just saw Ra's al Ghul in the last iteration, or second to last iteration of Batman. He played a pretty large role. I'm not sure if they're ready to do that again so quickly.
We saw Two-Face too.
Yeah, but he was Two-Face for like the last 20 minutes of the movie, maybe 30 at most, and you barely saw him do anything. It's kind of like you saw him. He didn't really do anything, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was more of a plot device, and his kind of like fall
from grace.
Fall from grace was more part of like the Joker's plan to try and corrupt Gotham, and then his entire character was just a plot device in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
with Bane to release all the criminals and take over with them. But yeah, if you look back, Two-Face had almost it was a minor role. I think Scarecrow might have had a more impactful role throughout the entire trilogy than Two-Face did.
He was more Harvey Dent than Two-Face. So
yeah.
Harvey Dent had a bigger it was more Harvey Dent than anything else, and then he became Two-Face at the end. But it was Harvey Dent.
Yeah, because do we ever find out what happened to him?
He fell off the balcony, the scaffolding.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I think he's dead. He died.
Yeah.
He didn't really. There was no he's dead,
right.
But he fell. He didn't move. He's just laying there on the ground. He's
dead. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I totally blanked on that. That makes sense.
Because it was the way he went out was kind of anticlimactic. He fell off. He fell over an edge and hit the ground. And I'll be the villain. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dobbins saying he was a sideshow compared to Joker.
Yeah.
Script Doctor is saying they gave us Two-Face, and so we got Catwoman in Nolan's trilogy too with in Dark Knight Rises. She played a pretty big role.
She did play a big role.
She kills Bane, right?
That was anticlimactic too, but that whole movie was a big buff anticlimactic. It didn't make a lot of sense. The first two movies being as strong as they were, the third one was entertaining, but it didn't really stack up to the first three. The first two. So.
Yeah, I'll disagree a little bit. I like Dark Knight Rises a lot. I do. I'm not going to say it's not a perfect film, but I thought there was some really I think what was the Interstellar we were talking about. There was a lot of strong points in there. That airplane scene in the beginning, the fire rises and everything. That was freaking epic. That was like some Mission Impossible level stunt work. That was really cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. I did think I will agree. I thought the confrontation with Bane and everything was a little. I think we knew what was happening. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Script Doctor is saying Catwoman killed Bane on the Bat Pod, but she was out of breath. Why would someone be out of breath driving?
I don't know. That thing would look pretty dumb, terrifying. She was probably scared. I'd be scared. Thing goes sideways sometimes. Oh, it's pretty scary.
I will say that if you watch any kind of racing, I know a couple weeks ago, I think what's his name? The guy drives one of the Hendrix cars, but they had him on oxygen at the end of the race because he was not getting enough oxygen. I think he was dehydrated as well. And I'm sure those guys on that race motorcycles also are you might be able to talk to this a little bit more to this than I can. But you can go you can be out of breath when you're racing a car.
You ever put your head outside of a window while the car is driving and try to breathe?
Yeah.
Is it easy? Now in NASCAR, you got to remember those cars are getting 200 degrees. They're getting really hot inside there.
Yeah,
and then you're wrapped up in all that protective gear. You're sweating the entire time. It's super hot. Your body can only take adrenaline for so long before it starts to react negatively. So yeah, it's more endurance than anything else. Same thing with motorcycle racing. It's you're not getting as much oxygen as you should. But that's what you have. That's why the helmets are ventilated the way they are. But again, you're still wrapped up in layers of protective gear. So you're got high adrenaline. It's hot. You're not getting enough oxygen. Yeah, it'll screw with you.
Yeah. So she was driving around the entire city too, and who knows? She might have been having to kick some people off or something. While she was getting into that building, because there was a massive melee outside the court.
The cops versus everyone.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was like a Lord of the Rings type type fight, but they put it in Batman.
But that was ridiculous too. The plan to trap all the cops down underground, every single one of them. First of all, that was a bad idea, sending everyone down there in the first place.
Yeah, you would never do that. That's just that no. You would always keep people in reserve. That's just a military strategy. You always have troops in reserve. So I mean, there's obviously flaws in that film.
But it was fun. Like I said, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I saw Tilt from Stargate in it, so that was cool.
Oh god. Blue-eyed Scorpio has an interesting comment. I think we'll if you want, you should just read his comment in the chat. We won't be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that might be why she was.
That's possible. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. I've actually heard that from female writers, so it's not actually out of hand. So I've interviewed a couple of them, and they'll tell you that. So the more horsepower they get, the more vibrations, and yeah, fun times.
I've heard that from people who ride just regular horses as well. So. Yeah, that's not out of the ordinary. But so Serkis as Alfred, we kind of like that idea. I think it could be interesting.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think it could be good. So do you want to? Was there any other like Batman news you want to talk about, or?
Not in particular. There's nothing that came out other than that we haven't. I hope they've already They have the Riddler and they have Catwoman. We don't know if Catwoman's going to be an antagonist or a side character or a protagonist or some kind of anti-hero in between. I don't know I don't know why the Mad Hatter keeps coming up. I don't think it's necessary. It's a interesting character. I'm not sure if we're ready to see that, on the big screen. I'm having problems remembering what he could do. Remember, it had something to do with cards, and he put the card on you, and he can kind of brain control you a little bit or something like that. I forgot what it was.
He puts his hat on you, and it like manipulates you.
Yeah.
I know. Sean Gordon Murphy used it in Batman White Knight. The hat, he uses the hat. He like uses the Mad Hatter's hat to like put some kind of like implant in all the villains. So like Joker is controlling all the villains in Gotham. In Gotham, they did a storyline with Mad Hatter and Alice, and it's all about like using her blood to like control people, manipulate them, and I think he uses it more as like the blood acts like turns them kind of like berserk, and then they get enraged and they just go crazy. So there's different ways that Mad Hatters use, but I think the mind control type stuff is usually. It's like messing with your mind is what he usually does, like a hallucinogenic or the mind control is like something that Sean Gordon Murphy did.
It's possible. How I see it though, maybe DC and Warner, AOL, whatever, they're not as slick as Marvel and Disney. I would say the fact that they're using Alice inside the Batwoman TV show, maybe they're conditioning fans to accept the idea of the Mad Hatter and that concept of that. I'm not sure what you'd call that, but that theme of character in the future. Because to be honest, Alice is the strongest part of the Batwoman TV show, which is weird because you have Batwoman and Ruby Rose is a horrible actress in my opinion, but the strongest part of that show is Alice. So.
Is she Alice in the Mad Hatter type? Is she the same Alice? I thought they were different characters.
They're probably different characters. It's just that theme of character they're using. Okay. Maybe they're just playing with that idea. I don't think there's any connection to the actual Mad Hatter villain. They seem to be that show seems to be very overly concerned with making all their villains women. So instead of just this is Gotham. You shouldn't worry about that. You have a huge rogues gallery to play with. Go ahead and play with all of them. I think one of the problems that I'm actually seeing with Batwoman right now is it's kind of Rey-like for Star Wars. I need to see her fail and grow into the character more. I mean, yeah, this past week she got herself kidnapped by Alice, which is pretty like, yeah, you're not Batman. Batman would let himself get drugged and chained up like that. But if they would play with the Batman rogues gallery some more and actually see her go up against these bigger, more dangerous villains, I think that'd be a lot more interesting. Other than seeing her constantly go up against Alice, which is her sister, over and over and over again, and actually lose a lot. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have not watched Batman. I've just been tracking the numbers.
Yeah, it's been going down, but again, that's their own fault. They shot themselves in the foot with that, with the way they introduced the entire show. Is that the crossover? They introduced her very, very well. I like the way they introduced her because the videography, the way they shot the character was great, but the dialogue is really corny. The whole world's finest thing, and the Arrow part was hilarious. Arrow saying that Batman doesn't exist, and then he finds Batwoman, and that was pretty funny. But when they try to push the whole agenda, you can see where it was coming through. It's like, just tell the story. We don't need all of that. And then they got lost in it inside the promos for the show. It was just like, if you had just put the show out and shown what you were going to do, instead of trying to remind us that Batwoman's a woman. I think we know that. I think it would have been better off, but that's on them. They shot themselves in the foot. The show isn't as, in terms of what's on the CW quality, it's better than the other 3 shows I don't watch. I mean, I'm almost giving up on Black Lightning, and that's one of my favorites. I'm just starting to get really annoyed by that show. Well, I am really annoyed by that show.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one, because that's actually had the highest percentage decrease since the premiere. Out of all of the Arrowverse shows that are on right now.
Kind of nonsense, man. Like right now, like what's happening now, like a big part of the plot is this country called Markovia is set up around their city, and they're trying to kill metahumans or capture them. In my head, this doesn't make sense that a foreign power can come into America, into a landlocked city, and just hide out in large numbers, and then we not wipe them out very quickly because you're in America, and we don't have to pull in much more than our National Guard to I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like, you have all this super advanced technology, but you can't find a group of militants. Stranger
Things had the Russians hiding out underneath a mall for like months.
I believe that more than what I'm seeing. They're hiding out in the countryside. Yeah, come on. And they all and with black.
They're guerrilla fighters.
Yeah, man, it's ridiculous.
And they're actually like foreign nationals. They're not just like,
yeah. And you have like this, and it's not just like, oh, we can send the National Guard. You have an active military presence, and you guys can't just wipe these people out. Like, what's the what?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
That sounds ridiculous. I'll be honest. I've tuned out of Arrowverse stuff. I think whenever Savitar was on the Flash, that's when I tuned out.
Yeah.
And then I think I stayed on till that with Arrow. I stayed on till they had, what was it, Wild Dog, and then he like recruited his new team or whatever with Wild Dog, and he was facing Vigilante, and then I think they revealed what his name was.
Yeah, I gave up the following
whatever.
I gave up the following season around the Dante thing.
Yeah,
I
mean, it definitely went downhill. I think that was like season 5 or whatever, because they're on 8 now, I think, and I think when Dante was 6, maybe.
I don't know when I gave up or how long it's been. I just know I stopped. I checked out when we were halfway through the season, and I didn't know who the main villain was.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, I didn't know who. I think they were like trying to figure out who it was going to be, and they were still writing it. Like that's what it seemed like.
It's what it seemed like, because there was no. We never saw him. You didn't see what he was, what he's supposed to do. I had no idea what was going on, and I'm like, I can do other things. I can go write an article or something. I don't need to spend my time watching this.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, I thought I think Savitar was season 3 of Flash.
The big blue thing.
No, Savitar was like the silver
silver blue thing, the blue lights.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the blue light. Yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, it's so bad. And then like there was like he had like these servants that were like mind controlling people or whatever. It was weird.
Yeah, he was pulling people from Earth to, and they were doing what he was saying because they were scared of him. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. um, is Dante Adrian Paul the Highlander? Because I think that was last season. I remember him in BC last year filming a British Columbia. I assume BC is British Columbia. Last year filming a CW show.
Okay, so I might have went back and watched it. I love me some Highlander. I'll watch reruns of that all day. But if Adrian Paul has ended up being Dante, I might go back and watch it. When I tell you I gave up, I cold turkey stopped watching. I have no idea what's going on. If that's what happened, wow, I might go back and watch some reruns on Netflix.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, you were talking about I always found that interesting that the Gotham has such great this great rogues gallery, and they don't put them to use. Like Solomon Grundy, he's a Clayface. Clayface is Killer Croc. Yeah, he was in like a horrible Suicide Squad movie, but Clayface is such a freaking awesome villain, and we haven't seen him. Like,
to be honest, he has a great story. You kind of feel for him the way he came about, you know.
Yeah, and they used him excellently in Arkham City. That was like a huge twist,
right?
With Joker and everything.
I'm trying to remember what happened. I remember fighting him. I don't remember why I was fighting him.
You were fighting him because you were tracking down Joker. Like pretended that he was sick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, like pretended that he bugged you, and it was like Clayface was actually like Joker or whatever.
Right.
And like Joker was alive, and then you fight Clayface, and he's like huge.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, script artists even saying there's 4 or 5 Clayfaces to draw from and have fun with. Yeah, they have like lots of different Clayfaces. It's a really interesting character, and they have they're not using him, and I just don't understand why. Instead, we're getting like knockoff Victor Zsasz and like Birds of Prey, and you're saying that they're only using this one Alice in Batwoman, and they could use Clayface. You could have like Solomon Grundy.
I say break the bank. I mean, if you're gonna go big, go big. Do it. Put Clayface in there and put her through the hero's journey and make her have to, fight for what she has instead of just taking all Bruce's stuff.
I just don't understand why there seems to be this idea that like heroes can do no wrong, or they can't be defeated anymore, or they can't suffer or like have anything traumatic happening to them other than something that was like happened in the distant past.
Mm-hmm.
They're like almost unbeatable now in general. Like,
put it this way: if Batman can defeat Killer Croc and Clayface and Joker, but had you put those same obstacles in front of him during year 1, he would have died.
Yeah, for sure.
He would have died. He grew to that. She shouldn't. I hope this is what they're doing, and they're going to build up to it. I don't think they're going to get a second season, but if they did, and this is what they're building her up to these bigger threats that don't have to be women. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bunch of women. It could be Batman's rogues gallery. Put them out there and let her have some fun with it. And I hope that's what they're doing, because even the Batwoman in the comic books, if you had put her in front of Clayface in the first time you saw her, she probably would have died. She built herself up, doing street thugs, and then Batman kind of was forced to recognize her. He didn't want to. He didn't want her there at all. So,
right. Well, they could even do so Batwoman has also like a military background.
Yeah, she does.
There's so much stuff you could bring in there. Like, you're talking about foreign nationals in Black Lightning. Well, hell, like you could bring in like someone who has a grudge against her from something she did overseas. And bring them in as like you can even create brand new characters, and that's not out of the ordinary for DC to do that for live action shows. They did that back in '66 with Batgirl. And then obviously animated show brought in Harley Quinn. So it's not out of the ordinary to like create new characters in the Batman mythos for like television shows. So they could do that too. They could create new characters as well. Especially like if they don't want to touch like Falcone or Maroni or any of those guys, you could like Fish Mooney. That was a brand new character in Gotham.
She did that wasn't bad. I mean,
yeah.
If they wanted to take those kind of characters and build them into something that exists inside the lore, they did it. That's what they did with Harley Quinn. You know, she didn't exist before the animated series, and I don't look at her. So, but yeah, I would love to see Falcone and Batwoman. But again, they're so wrapped up in this. You know, her biggest threat is her sister and other girls. These one-off girl villains like whatever that was a couple weeks ago with the girl with the white hair and the fingernails. It was a waste. It was a waste of an episode, in my opinion.
Well, there's like this Mexican drug cartel. She's a real life person. She runs like this hit assassin squad for this Mexican drug cartel. They could create a character based off of her and put her in the show if they want to. If it has to be, if they want to stay with like female characters. I mean, this is a real person who actually has like a really interesting story.
Having all male or having all female anything doesn't make sense. It's like it goes back to that whole Endgame scene. It's like, give me a break. Like, my wife was sitting next to me in the movie theater, and she looked at me. She's like, "Are you serious? How the hell did this happen?"
That was so forced.
I mean, visually, it was beautiful watching it. It just didn't make any sense.
Right.
None of you know each other. You don't have any ways of communicating with each other. How did this happen in a giant war zone?
All of you decided showed up out of nowhere.
Not to mention, if Captain Marvel was doing all this, she didn't even need your help.
Yeah.
So what was the point?
Well, Scarlet Witch was going one-on-one with Thanos and like pretty much winning too until he decided to bring down the fire.
Yeah.
So
that I have so many questions about that entire end part of that movie. Like, where did Valkyrie get the Pegasus from? Where did you get the flying horse from? Where did War Machine get his Iron Patriot armor? Because last time I saw you were drowning.
Yeah. No, Endgame, like I remember coming out of it, and that's not even like going super analyzing into it. I remember coming out of it and I was like, wow, this was kind of a letdown as far as like after Infinity War and like how much I enjoyed Infinity War. And then coming out of Endgame, I was like, man, this is like, you had this like huge battle scene at the end and you had all like this fan service payoff with Cap and that annoyed me. The whole thing going back and like being with Peggy Carter. And I was like, dude, you like just ignored your entire movie that you had.
You couldn't do that.
Yeah. And well, they also ignored their own movie in Civil War where like Cap was like laid Peggy to rest and moved on and was like going after Sharon.
He came to terms with that. And then he goes back and becomes Sharon's uncle.
Yeah, I was just like, what? So Script Doctor has a question. Why does Alice have all these loyal men? She's not stealing any money to pay them, so what's she doing to keep them loyal?
Do you really want to ask that question? Because we saw what she was doing with the other one. Maybe she was doing it with all of them. I don't know. I know I'm sexist now, but give me another reason. Why are they being loyal? Because hey,
crazy ones, blonde, and she's crazy.
Crazy ones are always the best ones. It's just you don't bring them home. So. But I don't know. That's called a plot hole, Doc. That's what that's called.
All right, so let's get into this Star Wars rumor. I know I put it up like a couple hours ago. Have you? It's kind of a similar rumor that we've seen play out all this year, but it's coming from a different source this time. So,
okay.
TiVo at Lord of the Long Box and his source, the Black Knight, which is his it's one of his main sources on Lords of the Long Box, that Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is dead. is what he is dead at Lucasfilm. So this is what TiVo said on his Lords of the Long Box live stream yesterday. According to several inside sources, Rian Johnson's proposed Star Wars trilogy is dead at Lucasfilm. He continues, after the mixed reaction of The Last Jedi from fans, Johnson's future, the franchise has been cast in doubt. When there is smoke, there is fire, it seems. He adds, Disney doesn't want any bad publicity or controversy with The Mandalorian about to hit Disney Plus. That is coming in a week from today, November 12th, I believe. They don't want any controversy with The Mandalorian about to hit Disney Plus and The Rise of Skywalker in theaters in December. So they are holding off any official announcement for now. And then he says, I don't know. That's actually, I disagree with that because we just had the Game of Thrones announcement last week. So,
but doesn't that make sense along those lines as well? I mean, the idea of Rian Johnson's trilogy being dead, being back alive would make sense if they're trying to fill a slot. But this would make sense if they're trying to get rid of all bad publicity, getting rid of Rian or putting Rian Johnson on the shelf and getting rid of the D&D. That is kind of, it plays along those lines. It's like, we don't want this bad mojo around us right now, and you guys have stunk it up a couple times now. So we're gonna, like, you guys go ahead and play with Netflix. And Ryan, we don't want you around us right now. We're not saying, don't tell anyone that you're done. Just say you don't tell anyone you're doing anything either.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what he's been saying in interviews. So he's got his Knives Out movie coming out, which is his like Clue, I guess. It's a whodunit movie.
I thought it was Clue.
It looks like Clue. But he's been like doing a couple of interviews promoting this, and I guess with this October 9, he said, well, we'll see. I'm still talking to Lucasfilm. They're figuring out what they're doing, and we'll see what happens. I'd be thrilled if it happens. I'm working on my own stuff too. And then just this past, I think it was like a couple of days ago, he told Deadline, we're still engaged with Lucasfilm and we'll wait and see. No updates on it at this moment. But yeah, to me, that's like he's being iced out. Like, because before he was like, yeah, it's still happening. And he was like, he would kind of like talk about a little bit about what he had going on. And now he's like saying like, I'm just talking to Lucasfilm now. We'll see what happens.
He's flip-flopping. He went from saying, I'm doing it, and then he says, if it happens. Oh, did I say it if it happens? Like, you're talking and their PR is telling you to shut up. That's what is happening.
No, I definitely think that's what's happening. I do find it interesting that we saw the Benioff and Weiss like exit, and they made that public, but we're not seeing that with Rian Johnson yet. That is something that I do find interesting. Maybe there's obviously Benioff and Weiss hadn't actually done a Star Wars film yet, so there might be something contractually that's different. Where Disney was able to get so there's been multiple different types of reports on like what happened there. Some people are saying they were fired. Other people are saying that D&D didn't want to like go through what they just went through with Game of Thrones season 8, where they got like run over by the fans who were not happy with that finale. Which I don't think that's fully on them. I think that has a lot to do with Martin not finishing the books, to giving them the source material to like adapt, because it was an adaptation, and when you don't have the source material to adapt, it's kind of hard to finish the adaptation. And then I think there was another rumor recently that was saying that it's Kathleen Kennedy's fault because she's like trying to micromanage. So you got all these different reports on like why they left, but they did leave, but we're not seeing that being kind of like coming out with Johnson. He's like saying, oh, we're still talking. And I think it might have to do with a contract. Potentially. What do you make of this rumor? Oh, I got you right when you just right when you ate. I'll give you some time to think. I mean, I think it's I don't know. I think Rian Johnson he's done some good films. He did Looper. I think after The Last Jedi and the way he was treating fans, he was even making fun of them before The Last Jedi about like, your Snoke theory is wrong, and kind of like just mocking them.
He did it to him. He did it all to himself. I was watching when it was happening. It was
yeah.
like, you don't. All right, you're gonna have trolls, but you don't create. He was actively creating trolls. It's like people are gonna have their opinions. Why are you arguing with them? That's not how you. That's not how you make money. You don't piss off your fan base. Your movie had he been more, I don't know, relatable during the coming out, before that movie came out, it would have been one thing. But he was actively taunting people and telling them, well, this is not going to happen this way. We're going to do it this way. And then when the movie comes out, it kind of flies in the face of the last movie, and the choices he was making, it didn't make any sense in the universe of Star Wars. So he did it. Any kind of bad press or any bad interactions he's had, he kind of did it to himself. No one's gonna, come after you if you're not making yourself. He made himself available. That's another thing. It's like, if you just like be professional about it. That's all you got to do. And he refused to do that. So, do I believe the rumor? I thought this was done a long time ago. I think Disney is about making money, and they saw that a Star Wars movie, it did make money, but they understood it probably could have made twice as much had it gone the way it's supposed to have gone, and it's endangered the rest of their franchise, and that means they've endangered their investment. So
I've harped on this quite a bit. The Q3 earnings report just speaks extremely loudly on where that Star Wars franchise is. Attendance down at your parks right after you open your premier Star Wars attraction. That's definitely not a good sign. Admitting that your merchandise sales for Star Wars are down. I'm seeing videos now of Star Wars merchandise going through shredders and stuff because it's not selling. You also had
it's at dollar. They're legit Star Wars toys at dollar stores on sale at dollar stores.
Yeah. There's a guy who posts in our official Batting in the Comics fans Facebook group, and he goes around and he goes to his local Walmarts and Targets and stuff, and specifically looks for what's in the toy section. And the Star Wars toys are either always on clearance or they don't really have any of them because they're not stocking them.
Right.
Because they're not selling.
Nobody
so they
wants to play with Rose Tico.
Yeah, no one or Ray. And I think you're seeing reports now that a lot of the people who used to license Star Wars stuff, they don't want these new characters from the sequel trilogy. They're like, give me Vader, give me Luke, give me Obi-Wan, give me Anakin from the prequel stuff, give me Darth Maul. They want the older characters.
Darth Maul,
Princess Leia.
Darth Maul is one of those out of the ballpark kind of hit characters that Star Wars put out that will always sell.
Character design is so sick. Red and black, you can't go wrong. There's
horns. Red and black with multiple horns.
Yeah.
Man. And a dual-sided lightsaber.
Red lightsaber.
Do you remember the trailer when they first revealed that?
Yeah.
Do you remember? I
was in high school, so yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So freaking cool. And then they paid his character off too, because he didn't say anything. I don't think. Maybe I had one line, maybe, but he was just that silent brooding, and then that freaking epic lightsaber fight with the choreography and everything.
Yeah, that was the first time we've ever seen an actual Star Wars fight like that, and I think that's the pace for everything that happened after it. So.
Oh yeah. After that, they had to up the ante. But I also there was a lot of emotion in that fight too. It wasn't like they had threw away the emotion. There was still a ton of emotion in that fight.
I'll disagree there.
You don't think so?
There was a lot of emotion on one side of the fight. Darth Maul was having a blast. He wasn't invested in that fight. He was having fun. And to be honest, had he taken it more seriously, he probably would have killed both of them. He lost to Obi-Wan because he's in there toying with him.
Yeah, I definitely think after he defeated Qui-Gon, he became arrogant. Obviously, that's dark side.
No jab. Come on, just didn't even look at him. Just
Yeah, but I mean that scene where the walls come down and he's pacing and you can just see the hate flowing off of him. I don't know. There's a lot of emotion there, and then the juxtaposition with Qui-Gon just peaceful and like
Oh
repose
yeah,
and everything.
he was over there just meditating.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about with like that emotion there. Like I could feel the hate like coming off Maul. And they used that in like Star Wars, the Old Republic, the MMO. That was like how you like recovered your your power or whatever. Or depending on what you played as a Sith warrior, you recovered your power that way, like pacing back and forth. Like I think it was like called seething or something like that.
Oh right, remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's how like influential that was. But yeah, no, that was like there was some emotion in that.
Heck, I would say even the fight he had with Qui-Gon in
Tatooine,
the desert, yeah,
yeah,
that was a dope fight. That was like a half a fight, and you just see him just back and forth, and he was also using the one side that time with the extended hilt. It was a dope fight.
No, that was like the teaser for the final fight at the end that we got. That was like the promo with the trash talking before they went 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is exactly what you see how much fun we just had talking about Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Have you done that in the past 4 years?
No, I haven't done it. I have not done that talking about the sequel trilogy because they're just not fun. It's like, oh, Han Solo got killed by Anakin or by Kylo Ren. I'm just like, that's not fun to talk about. Luke drinking
not to mention Nick. His name is Ben.
Yeah.
Come on, stop, Ben.
Luke drinking like manja juice or what out of like a space walrus.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
It's so nasty. Like
I'm surprised that he actually went through with. He saw the script. He's like, "We're gonna do this, really?"
Oh, I mean, there's like I think Film Gob has like a super cut of like Luke of Hamill just like going off like on like how much he dislikes Luke's character in the Last Jedi.
I remember during the press junkets before the movie was coming off, he just kept like throwing stuff out there, like, yeah, the movie was great to make, but I think a lot of people are going to be a little upset about how it ends. I'm like, I think he kept saying it over and over, and then one day he just stopped saying it, like, yeah, PR said cut it out.
Yeah, he was trying to tell us like you're not gonna like this movie. He knew it was going on. He knew the character. And what's really interesting is like he talks about in some interviews how he hadn't seen the old like the original trilogy in years, but he still knew like who Luke was and how Luke would act and everything. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, that's just, but yeah.
So he basically acted opposite of Freddie Prinze. Freddie Prinze, who had an inner angle with talking to the creators, and he obviously has a lot of information about how the Force works from the people who actually crafted it. But he took it and he just goes off on this tangent on the fans. Mark Hamill, he took that information. He's like, listen, this isn't what you think it's going to be.
Right. Yeah, and Freddie Prinze's.
I'm such a fan of him before that. I don't know.
I like Kanan. I liked his character. I think Kanan's really interesting. And I don't think he's wrong about the archetypes and stuff and how like Maul is like Sisyphus and he's always going to fail no matter what. Pushing that rock up the hill and everything like that. And I don't think he's wrong about that. And like they're using obviously like the like archetypes from ancient Greek literature and everything like that. Obviously, Lucas was inspired by all that stuff,
right?
But like, yeah, to just like go attacking the fans like that, and the Force obviously evolved with like the Force was very different in the original trilogy to the prequel trilogy, and then explaining it in the Clone Wars. The Force has evolved, so like just He was explaining the Force as it is currently after like the Clone Wars and everything. But that's not how it was when Yoda's giving that speech about Luke and everything like that.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, these are cool ideas, but I don't think they had this idea back in '83. So calm down.
Yeah. So and then there's no point. Like, why do you got to call people like names and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, he's asking for attention, and he got it.
Got it. Yeah, I think out of all the different actors, I think he was one of the people that fans kind of flocked around because he was a cool guy. And after that, they're like, well, not so much. I was like, okay, you're one of those it's the fans' fault people. That's fine.
Yeah, and I think Script Doctors hits on something we were just kind of touching on as well. It evolved. He's saying Maul becoming Sisyphus was not intentional. People loved Maul, and they found a way to bring him back and do something neat with him. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Script Doctor. They killed off like they're one of the more interesting characters after that first prequel film.
They didn't know how popular that character was, and they brought him back. That's all it was. They're like, holy crap, he's selling a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and Disney obviously knows that Maul is popular too, as they tried to like tease him in Solo for possibly making him like an arch villain in a Solo trilogy, which I don't think is going to happen. What was interesting is like when I was listening to that Tim Vo, Rian Johnson rumor, he also talked about a Solo Disney Plus series, but I'm not sure if he was like misspeaking there because like he was answering a question as well about a potential Solo Disney Plus series, and he said he wasn't sure. So he did mention like a Solo Disney Plus series, but then he also like said he wasn't sure, and that wasn't part of like his rumor. That was him just kind of like interacting with his audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there is a Solo Disney Plus show in the future. They might have had plans for sequel after Solo, and obviously they repurposed their Obi-Wan Kenobi movie script into a TV show.
Right.
And I actually think that's something that you're going to start seeing a lot more of. I just watched the first episode of His Dark Materials on HBO, and obviously Golden Compass was a film. It didn't do as well, but they turned it into a TV series now, and I think you're going to see. I think that's where a lot of focus is going to be on high end, especially with HBO Max. They're already talking about that high end television production on these streaming services, and I think that's where obviously Disney's doing that with Disney Plus with Marvel. I mean, how have they? What is it, like 10 MCU shows that they have announced are going to be on there?
Loki,
something like that.
WandaVision, Falcon, Miss Marvel,
Hawkeye, Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight. She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And then there's like
What If.
Yeah, What If. So yeah, I think it's close to around 10 now.
I wonder what X-Men franchise they're going to put up first. I know they're going to do the movies, but I wonder what series is going to hit the TV. That's what live action X-Men show is going to hit. That's going to be bonkers. I can't wait for that. I mean, when they put out.
There's a reason why they canceled The Gifted.
That show had so much potential.
Oh yeah, dude! I watched the first season. It wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible.
Good. Oh, you didn't like it?
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't.
Oh
horrible.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, they had good talent. They brought in Bill from True Blood.
Yeah.
I mean, the girl Silver. She played Silver St. Cloud in Gotham. She was her brother. Like they had some good. The chick who played Polaris, like they had like good talent on the show.
Yeah, Emma something.
Yeah.
The cast was good, but the characters they were playing, you can tell Marvel was like saying, "Yep, nope, can't have this, can't have that, nope."
Yeah,
they get a bunch. If they get a bunch of C-listers, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That Polaris is probably the most well-known character on that whole show. I was like, and that's sad. Most people have I would say 99% of fans outside of comic book reading have no idea who Polaris is. Okay, she was in one episode of the animated series in the 90s, and she was in like maybe a handful in the most recent season one that came out like in 2007. No one knows who Polaris is, but that was the most recognizable one there. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I guess what's his name was there too. They had I don't know was he going by Thunderbird?
Thunderbird at the time, yeah.
Yeah, so he was there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but John, come on, John is a character. The name Thunderbird's been around for a long time.
Right.
Died like what? a year after his debut.
Yeah.
Showed up
Yeah.
a jet. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Mark's saying he was Warpath was he Warpath in The Gifted?
No, he was Thunderbird. I think he was still Thunderbird in Gifted.
Yeah,
Warpath,
I thought so too.
Warpath was his brother's name.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
That was John. You saw in the show was John. His brother is James. James was Thunderbird, but he became Warpath. The third Thunderbird was Neil Shara. He was an Indian character. He came out during Operation Zero Tolerance or a little bit afterwards. Pretty cool character. Hung around until Extreme X-Men and then kind of disappeared. But there was 3 Thunderbirds.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so those two were like the most recognized. But yeah, they had the Cuckoo Sisters, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a version of them. Yeah,
right.
They had a version of it. I mean, again, so much potential. Like that was a really tragic story. It was similar to the comic books, but it was just again, I hated what they did with the Sentinels. I didn't like that whole they're rolling
too.
That was ridiculous. They were kind of rolling around on the ground. They're these little robots. They were really stupid. I thought
they were being used by the police force, right?
Yeah,
those were Sentinels.
Those were their Sentinel things.
Oh, they had drones too, didn't they?
I don't remember any drones.
Okay, I thought there were some drones.
The show could have been a lot better, but it was cool. But they kept teasing something that never happened. Like they kept saying, "Oh, the X-Men are gone. What happened to the X-Men?" They won't tell you. Like, all right, you don't gotta show me anything. Just tell me what happened.
Yeah, at least in Logan, they told us what happened.
Got killed by corn syrup or corn syrup.
Yeah, Professor X went schizophrenic,
and he roasted it. I don't know. Okay, good movie. Premise is kind of thin. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I actually Mikey Sutton. Who
Operation Zero Tolerance, that sounds like a SJW script, I guess, but you have to understand what Zero Tolerance was. It was a dope. It was a great concept that wasn't executed well, but would have been. I can't wait for them to put that on a screen. Zero Tolerance, like made live action or animated, is going to be so dope. But it didn't. They didn't execute it great in the comic books. It could have been better, but the concept was ridiculous. So
Zero Tolerance usually is like a saying they use when it comes to drugs.
Yeah. Flip that around and have the U.S. government and governments around the world have that toward mutants.
Yeah. No, that sounds X-Men. Yeah. That sounds like an X-Men story. But yeah, so there's a rumor that just dropped today that Storm is going to be in Black Panther 2. I have not. I mean, the scoop is it's on a Spanish YouTube channel, and I don't speak Spanish very well. So I was trying to get Jorge to help me out on that. So that's what the scoop is, which could be how they introduce X-Men. Maybe
that would make zero sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly want them to like not even. I want the X-Men to be in their own thing still. Like
they don't need any tie into the Marvel universe right now, other than how do you. First, we keep talking about X-Men movies, but they haven't even introduced the concept of mutants. We're so far away from an action team filled with mutants. There are no mutants in the MCU yet. And I don't care what any of you say about that throwaway line from Iron Man that they just released a few months ago. That is not that it doesn't exist. It's a blooper reel at most. Let it go. It doesn't.
There's the SR-71 Blackbird that it shows up on his like radar or whatever, where he's like comparing his top speed or whatever. That's in the movie. That's not. But no, I know. I get what you're saying. But no, they haven't even introduced Inhumans. But we're going to get Inhumans with wow, man, joining right in when we're talking about X-Men.
It's the Dawn.
What's up?
We're talking X-Men. You're a little loud, but I think it's pretty good. Okay. We're talking X-Men right now, and I kind of lost my train of thought there.
The existence of Inhumans and the mutants.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get Inhumans in Miss Marvel, right? Like unless they're gonna change her origin in the MCU.
I don't know how they're going to introduce Miss Marvel without Inhumans already existing. Because the funny thing is, technically, MCU,
They do, I guess, with Agents of Shield, though, right?
Saying, but assuming they ever choose to acknowledge the existence of Agents of Shield. Agents of Shield acknowledges their existence, but they don't acknowledge. They don't. In the MCU, they haven't even talked about Coulson being alive, and that's huge. All right, he's been alive for 7 years, and they haven't spoken about that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So if they're going to like backtrack and say, yeah, Inhumans exist, well, then they have an entire 4 seasons worth of Agents of Shield they can go back on and use. I don't think they're going to do that because it's too messy.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's way too messy.
So they're not going to reference that one season of Inhumans. No.
It was actually it was one season dedicated to them, but remember the Inhumans were around since then. Daisy is an Inhuman herself.
I understand.
And then you had a bunch of them. Like last season, you had like about 3 or 4 introduced in one of in half of the season. So they're around, but do they matter? That's up to Kevin Feige, I guess.
Oh, Mark's saying that Coulson is dead again. Did he die?
He died again. Yes,
he died in the last season here.
But they brought him back with one of those androids. So
he's died more times.
Oh, a life model
Professor
decoy now.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Say it again.
He's died more times than Professor Xavier. Anybody?
Oh wow! He's Professor X is. Are we counting the times he faked his death, or how many times he actually died?
Yeah.
Didn't he get shot? Oh, would you read?
Yeah, I read it.
Oh, yeah, he got shot in the face today.
But it doesn't matter because pod people. So
pod people, he's back. I'm pretty sure that's why Jean was seen wearing the helmet. She's gonna put his personality back into his body, which is weird by itself.
Was that in New Mutants?
X-Force.
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 The best book thus far.
I saw Leafield was commenting on it. He seemed like he was not happy with.
It's not his kind of writing, but the guy Benjamin Percy he's a novelist and he does thrillers, kind of like Jason Bourne kind of action, and he's perfect for this kind of book. And I think what he's built out so far is way better. I don't understand what people. I'm a huge Gambit and Rogue fan. I don't understand what people saw in Excalibur. I was not impressed by that book. I was not impressed whatsoever. What about you?
My Captain Britain lore is kind of fuzzy. So when they started introducing Morgan Le Fay and Clan Akaba, I was like, they lost me. They totally lost me. But they picked me back up with X-Force.
X-Force was.
So I'm enjoying this writing.
I'm going to read it again. I've been trying to force myself to go back because I write about this stuff. I've been trying to force myself to go back and read Excalibur and New Mutants again just to see if I can get a different perspective on it. Because I'm looking at these YouTube interviews or reviews, and they're like, "Oh, it was great." And it was this, and like, what? Y'all read something different than I read because I had problems following it.
I actually think that's I know when I was reviewing comics, I actually found that was one of the problems that I had was following. It seemed like simple mistakes, like which panel am I supposed to go to next? Am I supposed to because sometimes you'll go to the panel right below, and then other times you're going to the left, and it's and then sometimes the full pages it's not the panels aren't marked properly, so you're like, oh, do I need to go to the full page here instead of going down on a normal page? And I think that's just a problem with that's an editor's problem personally.
Do they still exist?
Yeah.
Geez. But I would say the last book that I reviewed for Bounty in the Comics was at least I tried that Power Rangers book that you sent me. I told you, I remember I gave up on it because I couldn't follow it. I was going from one panel to the next. I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to be going, and I just gave up. I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to. I can't follow. It's not that I couldn't understand the dialogue. I couldn't follow the book. It was the panels were segmented in triangles, and sometimes in squares, and then they were next to each other, and then you had to go here and then counterclockwise. It was like I'm done. I'm not old. I'm too old for this. So
Yeah, there's sometimes where you're being a little bit too creative. And what is the saying? Kiss, keep it simple, stupid.
keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. Like you go back and you look at the older comics, and they're very very easy to follow. But they also had like the panel. It wasn't like static panel designs or static page layout. It was also it was very active, and but you easily follow where it goes. I would also argue that a lot of those older comics had way more dialogue than what you see now in some newer comics.
Hey, isn't it the second time Xavier got shot in the face?
Yeah, yeah. I remember
Bishop shot him in the face. Remember?
Yeah, I remember you writing something about that.
Yeah, right after Messiah, Messiah Complex, or right before Second Coming, Bishop shot him. That's messed up. This guy goes out wearing a better helmet or something.
So Professor X was the guy wearing that big globe.
As far as we know, that is Professor X. Yeah.
Okay, but he hasn't shown his face.
85%.
So you don't know for sure that that's actually Professor.
We saw him put it on. Back in the House of X number 4 or 3 or 5.
Yeah, one of those.
Whenever before he made his speech to the FU to the world, we saw him put it on. And that was the last time we saw his face. So.
But what is the helmet? Does the helmet, is it like a mini Cerebro?
That's exactly that's what he asked Forge to build for him. Actually, he asked Forge to do 2 things. He asked Forge to augment Cerebro, and then he asked Forge to build backups to Cerebro. Was it 5? He said 5, right?
Yeah, and then set it in certain locations throughout the world. Just
unlimited memory and unlimited power because he's using Shi'ar magical technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the helmet, what it is a newer version of Cerebro. What it does exactly, I don't think it's really. I think it's doing something more than it's telling us. That's why he never takes it off. So, or maybe it needs its mind to do what it's supposed to do because it's always backing up everyone's personalities. That's how they're able to resurrect everyone. I don't think resurrection works like that, but that's how it works for the X-Men right now. I mean, I think if you die and they make a clone body of your body, and then they install the last image of your mind into that body, that's not you. You're dead, and this is another version of you. That's just how I see it. That's not you living your life continuing. That's just a version of you living on. So it doesn't. It's more. So it benefits more of the people around you than you. You're gonna die if you get shot in the head. You're dead. You're gonna live on through someone else, but it's not you. So it's weird. Not to mention in Marvel, there is the concept of souls. So what's going on here?
Yeah, in a certain book, wasn't Moira's ghost appearing? I can't remember.
I don't recall that.
Anyway, so
you're trying to remember House of X. Good luck.
Yeah, the only guy I haven't seen come back is Thunderbird, which, you know what? That guy needs to stay dead.
Remember, they brought up the fact that Sinister got his gene from Thunderbird, so that came up. That came up for a reason. It's Jonathan Hickman. It's going to come back for it.
Yeah.
How many books is he writing now? Is he writing like 4 books?
He's X-Men. He's co-writing New Mutants, and he's doing one more. He's going to be doing Giant Sized in February.
Okay, and that looks like an anthology type, or are all of them going to be Jean Grey and Emma Frost, or is that just the first one?
I think it's anthology. I don't see them being on together forever. I think it's just. I think the first 5 or 6 are. I think it's going to be what Astonishing X-Men turned into. It's going to have like the first arc is going to be this, next arc's going to be this, next arc's going to be this. That's what I think is going to be. So,
all right. So while we're on X-Men, I think this is the perfect opportunity to segue into our top picks for Disney Plus.
Yes.
that the top picks that we're excited
Next week.
for
What,
the
how many are we doing? Was it top 3, top 5? What is it?
I think we can do top 5. I know you said 3 pre-show. Let's do 5. I know 3 is like really easy for me, so I'm gonna have to like think hard for the other 2. I think we'll probably be pretty close on our. I think we're all gonna have 2. We're all gonna have the same 2 because we talk about it a lot on here.
Yeah. I know. I know. I think I'm going to surprise you guys on mine. You know what's going to be in it, but
of course, I know there's one that's going to be in there for sure, and I'm pretty sure I know there's another one too.
What, on all 3 of our lists?
Yeah, I think those are going to be in all 3, but I know they're going to be on Phil's for sure.
I'm trying to think.
Let me see. I got 4. Need one more. I think I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I think my 5th one's going to be a little surprising. Yeah.
So I need to like figure out what is actually going to be.
I'll start.
All right. Yeah. All right.
This is not what I'm looking forward to. This is probably what I'm going to do in order, and what I'm looking forward to watching on the within that first week.
Right.
Funny enough, number 5 is actually Captain Marvel. I want to sit down and watch it and dissect it. I want to watch it. It's kind of like it's like when I watched Endgame inside the movie theater, opposed to when I got it home and watched it, because I knew I wasn't ever going to go back and watch it for another 3 hours inside the theater. I'll do it when I'm home and comfortable, and you take bathroom breaks. So Captain Marvel, I want to watch that again. Spider-Man, I still haven't watched it all the way through. There was a little incident we had, and I didn't finish watching it. So
Homecoming?
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Okay.
So I'm looking at that. Number 3 is actually Gargoyles, because I've seen it so many times. I'm looking forward to watching it again, but not as much as I'm looking forward to watching number 2, that being X-Men. And number 1 is Mandalorian.
X-Men, the animated series?
Yeah, the animated series, the first one.
Yeah.
And my number 1 is I want to see the Mandalorian, because that's brand new, and these trailers got me. I want to see it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So, but do you want to go next on?
Yeah, I'm not sure on 4 and 5. But my top 3. Okay, I'm at a tie between X-Men and Gargoyles.
Because you're a good man.
Because I want my childhood back. But I don't know. I'll put X-Men at number 2, and then Gargoyles at number 3. But the Mandalorian, everybody's saying that it's the old Star Wars with the old West, and I'm a sucker for old westerns, because Logan, the movie that was last year, I guess, it had that old West kind of vibe going on as well.
Oh yeah.
Plus The Last of Us, and the Mandalorian looks to be adapting some of that as well, especially if there is going to be a kid involved into it. So yeah, Mandalorian, that's got to be my number 1.
All right, what's 4 and 5 though?
Jeez.
And this is what's going to be available, on launch. This is not what I'm looking forward to for the entire life of it, but this is what's going to be available on launch.
Yeah.
Available on launch. Number 4. What's something I'm not looking forward to, or somewhat looking forward to? Here we go. All right, you might lose me for a second while I go find out what's available on launch.
All right, I can. Collider has a really good article with like everything that's going to be on there. Here, I'll put it in the chat. So I'll start with mine. While you think of 4 and 5.
Also,
so
chat people, if you have your list, let us know.
Yeah. Dobbin, Keely Chow, thanks for joining us. Going back to Batwoman there. But yeah, so my top 5, I think I want to go back, and number 5 is Star Wars Rebels, the animated series. I want to go back and finish off. I think I dropped off at season 3.
Isn't it on Netflix?
It's going to be on. I don't think that. I think they took it off.
Oh, okay.
It might still be. I don't know if they have like the most recent seasons, which are the ones that I want to watch. So because I remember watching. I've seen up through like the third season, I think, but I want to watch that 4 and 5, especially those last 2 seasons, which get caught up on those on that. I know you've talked about this, so this is kind of like where my watch that 2009 Wolverine and the X-Men. I think you've had some good
Wolverine and the X-Men. To be honest, I haven't watched that yet. I've seen spare episodes here and there, so I'm not really amped to watch it, but I am interested in watching it. I'm just not like, I get to watch it. I'm like, it's kind of after my time. I'm gonna check it out, but I'm not like killing myself to see it, you know?
Yeah, so I want to check that out. It doesn't look like they're gonna have the they don't have like the 90s Spider-Man on here.
Yeah, they do. They're gonna have it.
Okay, I see 81
Animated
Spider-Man.
Series? Yeah, the 90s. They're gonna have the 90s Fox series. They're gonna have that.
I see Spider-Man Unlimited 99.
That was horrible.
Yeah, I don't see that one.
I saw it on Spider-Man. Yeah, that one.
That one.
Collider just doesn't have it on here then on their list, I guess.
Stan Lee makes an appearance last season.
I remember that. That was weird.
And Madam Web.
It ended.
Yeah. So I want to see X-Men the animated series. Get caught up. Refresh my mind on that and
don't watch the last season. Watch everything but the last season. You'll be fine.
Okay.
You can watch
the last season.
You can watch the Phalanx saga from that, the Phalanx Covenant.
But
don't watch anything else. Yeah. Don't watch anything else though. Yeah.
All right, and then obviously Gargoyles number 2, and then Mandalorian is number 1 as well. I am looking forward to Mandalorian.
I'm looking more and more for the Gargoyles now. Never keep talking about it,
dude. Yeah, I can't. I mean, Gargoyles so good. So
I'm gonna get goosebumps when the theme starts.
Yeah. I can't believe that's been like hidden away for so long, and now we're finally.
I don't know what Disney's doing with that thing. People have been asking for them to revive it or do something with it. I mean, Kevin Feige himself said he wants to do something with it.
Yeah,
why won't they let him?
He said that back in like 2014.
Yeah, he was all excited. He's like, I get to play with gargoyles. Yeah, I'm like, yes, you damn right you will.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't think they might not realize the value of that IP yet because no one's really gone after it. Or maybe there might be something where there's something in there that like Back to the Future where the director actually has the
royalties or something.
In Back to the Future, the director has the rights and he's like, you will never make a sequel or a spin-off ever. And even if I die, I will make sure my estate, I will put instructions to my estate to make sure that there's never another Back to the Future movie made. Although they did do some spin-off comics. I think it was IDW did some spin-off Back to the Future comics recently, but he says no to the new movies.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's a stipulation he wants to be involved, and they're saying no. So he's like, if I can't do it, you can't do it.
No, I think it's just that, hey, our story's done, and I don't want to see anyone trying to redo it or add anything to it. The story's done and over with.
I'm surprised it wasn't Ready Player One. I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I liked all the reference. Ready Player One was. I thought it was a decent film. I love the Gundam at the end.
The Gundam was dope.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I remember my wife asking, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, who are you?" That's a Gundam. But that was really cool. It was basically 2 hours of fan service.
Fan service.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah,
I was pausing it and just trying to name every single reference in that one fight scene. I was like, I don't even I know.
Oh, they're charging across the battlefield.
Yeah.
Oh,
Battletoads, Street Fighter. I mean, gosh, those things are everywhere.
All right, Don. What are your last 2?
All right, number 4, DuckTales. The old
Yeah.
school DuckTales.
Old
The
school
old school
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Yeah, from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And number 5 would have to be Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck. I knew you were going to
Darkwing
say
Duck,
that.
yeah.
If you were going to say DuckTales, you're going to go with Darkwing Duck. I knew you were going to do that. But that first like mini movie, the first 2 episodes of Darkwing Duck, that it was way more. It was darker than I was expecting anything to be as a kid. Like you thought he died. It was like, wow. Like you knew he didn't die, but you thought like you saw him like maybe perhaps dying. I thought that was pretty dark for a kids show. So, with ducks as characters, and yeah, it was a good show. Darkwing Duck was a great show, especially when they got the supervillains made that team together. What were they called?
Oh, I can't remember. It was so long ago.
They had Mega Duck and the Liquidator and I didn't get that name until like maybe I was like 25. I get it. The Liquidator. He was a car salesman. Liquidator. He turned the water. Like, oh, I get it. That's hilarious.
The Fearsome Five.
Was it that?
That's what Google is telling me.
It was
the Fearsome Five, a team formed by Negaduck.
Negaduck.
4 of Darkwing's most recurring dangerous villains.
That was like, why would a kid understand what a Liquidator is? Why would a kid get that joke? Because I didn't until I was 25. Then I got it. I was like, oh, I get it. The Liquidator.
What is the chat talking about here? It's not a
They're
lot.
Probably talking about Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Well, Dobbin is saying it's not a lot to run a streaming service on. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I don't know.
What, our childhood?
I don't know.
I think Disney has a huge catalog to go off of. They're fine.
They have my
is that what he's talking? Oh, is that what he's talking about? The Disney's catalog?
I hope that's what he's talking about. They bought half the world. They
bought 90% of my childhood. Come on.
Yeah, they have all the Fox stuff too. They're gonna have
all they need is
Avatar
Batman the animated series.
God. Where would that go exactly?
DC Universe.
It's on DC Universe? Okay.
Batman series.
That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense.
It's also on my shelf here because I bought all the DVDs.
Oh, you jerk! I saw a collected. I saw a box edition of I think it was 2 years ago on Amazon. It was like $150. I was really close to buying it.
Oh, you probably have Beyond on your shelf too, huh?
Did you get it?
No, I don't have Beyond.
That came out like last week. I'm getting that. I told my wife I'm getting that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's on DC Universe. I know the animated series is though.
They dropped the Blu-ray special edition with the Funko Pop and I'm getting that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there's a ton of. I guess he was scrolling through what Collider has, and I will say, like, it looks like there's a lot here, but it definitely like pales in comparison to what Netflix's catalog is at this point. But I think there's still a lot to like keep you going.
You understand that Netflix catalog is going to shrink by at least 25% over the next year from just losing all their Disney stuff.
Yeah, they're going to lose Disney stuff. They're going to lose
their Fox stuff
as well. They're going to lose a ton.
As soon as those contracts run out, it's over.
Yeah. Script Doctor. That's what I have. I have Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray too. It's fantastic. Mark, I'll be honest. I have not watched Titans since. That's why I haven't been doing the reviews because I haven't watched an episode since New York Comic Con, which was like a month ago.
Titan has returned to season 1. Is that good or bad?
I have no idea. Titan season 1 was like it was hit or miss. Season 2 has been that way as well.
Even the Batman episode, just
the Batman episode. You're talking about the season finale. That one was okay. It was okay.
A lot of folks I talked to were just like, "This is the Batman we needed." Too bad it was
Batman going around killing everyone because that's what he does.
Too bad it was just a dream.
They're saying it's bad. The chat saying there's bad. So
yeah, season 1 had like I really like the Hawk and Dove episodes of season 1. I like for the most part like aside from those episodes, it wasn't very good. But I like the Hawk and Dove stuff. but yeah, I mean, that's kind of it's where it looked like it was going after. Like it had like the best episode I've seen on a superhero show in a long time with their Aqualad episode, but then the subsequent episodes just sucked since then, and there were two like they were just declining in quality, and I just was not interested in seeing where the story was going, and it sounds like I was kind of right to tune out because Mark saying Aqualad was the high point of season 2 and it has collapsed since. And that was like episode 4. So, and episode 1 was horrible because they had to try and like cut off they had to like wrap up the season 1 arc in the first half of the episode and then tease what was going to happen in this season 2 with Deathstroke and everything. It was just really, really, really bad the way they like wrapped it up. Like Raven just went out and like somehow like Mary sued and like did like a flick and like sent Trigon back into his dimension. It was horrible. It was so bad.
Plot jutsu.
But have you watched any more of Watchmen, Phil?
I didn't finish this past one. I started watching it. I got through maybe 25 minutes of it, and I got distracted. I had to go do something else. I haven't gone back and finished it. I'll probably finish it tonight or tomorrow.
But that's episode 3. You saw episode 2?
I've seen I'm current. I just haven't finished this past one. So it's interesting. Like I said, it's interesting. I didn't read the graphic novel or anything like that. So I'm trying to catch up the wikis and whatnot and seeing what they're talking about. Because I'm mixing up my knowledge with the movie knowledge with what's happening here, and it's getting all screwed up in my head.
The movie's really similar. I think the big difference is that instead of Dr. Manhattan being like the guy who's like causing all the problems, it's this like alien squid.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I haven't finished this episode yet, but I saw where they were going, and I thought it was really interesting. I was like, oh. These are some of the past characters that we saw from the movie. So,
yeah, they introduced Silk Spectre, and she's going by Laurie Blake now.
Yeah,
and she was like Laurie Jupiter or Laurie Spajic or whatever. I think it was a Polish name. Her character is interesting in episode 3. I look at this as like it's I don't know. I have to look at it as like it's not even like I don't even see it as like a continuation of the graphic novel because so much time has passed. It's very similar to like what they've done with Star Wars. It's almost like you have to look at it as like a different story. And I don't know why they wanted to like pitch it as like I know he was like Lindelof was originally saying like what happened in the graphic novel is what happened, and this is taking place after that. But you have to look at it from its own story. And I think that's what you really have to do in order to like, especially if you're a fan of the graphic novel, you have to look at it as like it's a brand new story, and some of the characters are familiar. But
the actress is playing the Silk Spectre. I love the actress. I remember her from Frasier. She played a recurring character on the last couple seasons of Frasier, and I've loved her since then. She acts the same way. She's very vulgar, very loud, and I love the actress itself. She does a great job in that. The story itself is still very engaging. It's a little bit like it's political, yet it's kind of like imaginary political. So it's not a really big deal to me. So they're actually addressing like I think Lindelof is doing the same thing that Johnson did. He's shooting himself in the foot in all these interviews, trying to make it like he's trying to sell the show as some kind of political narrative off of what's happening in our world and in the real world. And it's like, no, dude, you just sell it as like it's a freaking political story in I'm glad I'm not reading any of his interviews there because I'd probably stop watching the show. But the show itself, leaving it alone, it's very well written, very well acted. The script is solid.
Production value is high.
Yeah. So
I actually like the first episode was just iffy. I kind of like I'm actually like intrigued now. I feel like there's like a conspiracy going on. There's lots of subplots that are like really interesting. The introduction of of Laurie Blake, I think, is a game changer.
Right.
I love how she's already kind of put Regina King's character on her heels a little bit. She's shaking things up just by being there, and like she knows a lot of stuff, and she's kind of like she puts like almost all the people in Tulsa on their heels because of the information that she has, and then obviously her reputation. I thought like some of her characterization was a little off.
She's cold. She's really quick to shoot people. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you got to the part with her briefcase, but I don't know. I thought that was weird.
Briefcase. Don't recall.
So she opens this, like they tease like what's in the briefcase, and she opens it up a couple times, but they never show you what's in it until like the end, and then they show you what's in it, and I thought
I'll watch it. See what's going on.
Like that was just you'll get it from what you saw in the movie. It'll make sense, but it doesn't make sense as far as like where she was after the movie. So I don't know. And then there's all the stuff about like with Night Owl and everything, where they like tease that, and they have these like they're doing what they did with the graphic novel. I don't know if you saw our story, but they have these like PD. So like the Dale PD is like the agent that she's with, that she takes to Tulsa with her,
right?
And he has like they have like memos. So like in the graphic novel, at the end of each episode or whatever, or the end of each series, there would be like I guess they're doing it in X-Men too. You got the diagram of the house or whatever, but it usually be like some kind of like news report or something to like really like get you into expose you to a little bit more of that that world and that universe.
Right.
So they're doing that with the series too. They have like a news clip from like the New Frontiersman, and then there's the most recent one. I forget. I think the most recent one was a news clip from the New Frontiersman, which is this tabloid, right-leaning tabloid that apparently is run by a KKK sympathizer, and they were the ones who published Rorschach's journal.
Wow. Okay.
Which is, yeah, and so that is how they explain why these, like, I guess they're called the 7th Cavalry, why they wear the Rorschach mask, and why they're depicted as racists. Even though I don't think we've really seen them do anything racist, have we?
They are not doing anything racist. I would say they're revolutionaries because they're trying to break down the system, the governing system, in my opinion. Racist only because they all seem to be of one race, I guess. It depends. Like, do they allow anyone else in to their, into it? They're not going to understand that, that's a problem. But have they done anything racist? I don't think so. Not that I can recall, anyway.
Right. So that's just we've only seen them. They're depicted as racist from the police's perspective.
Yeah,
based off of
running around with a commie. That's kind of weird in itself. Well, think about that.
So, well, remember the Soviet Union and the United States like teamed up after this giant squid or whatever came, but they teamed up in the movie. They teamed up after after Veidt faked Manhattan's like attacks on all those major cities.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I actually do find it interesting. I like the subplots. You have the Regina King subplot with the old man, and there's some good revelations in episode 3 about that. And then Laurie Blake, I think her character is such a game changer. I'm really interested more. I want to learn more about Looking Glass, which
he's interesting.
I really like that actor. And because he was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I want to see find more about him, and then you saw what happened with Crawford with his skeleton in his closet, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting too. And then you have everything going on with Veidt. So I think there's some really good mysteries going on, and the storytelling seems to be picking up here in season 3. And I know a lot of people have been upset about what they've done with the idea that Rorschach is inspiring these racists, and that they've made the New Frontiersman a very like right leaning. They've described it in their like extras as a extremely right leaning conservative that's run by a KKK supporter or sympathizer. And I get how that can definitely ruffle some people's feathers, but you just have to. It's part of the fictional world. And you just got to take it as that, not try and like make it as like a metaphor in the real world. Even though like Lindelhoff is saying that in his interviews, but take it as it's part of that fictional world,
right?
And that's how I'm looking at it.
I'm just enjoying it as a show. As a show, I think it's a good show. I'm not trying to get too deep into it, because when you start doing that and going down the rabbit hole, you're going to stop enjoying it. You know, kind of like the Arrowverse and the Dante crap. It's like you're going to stop enjoying things because you're thinking too hardly about it. Like I'm sorry. That's got nothing. That has no comparison, because that's just a basic problem with the show. I have no idea who your main antagonist is. So we're done. So
no, I do.
Watching for 6 months, got no clue what's happening.
That's something that it's just like I just want to enjoy something, and I don't want to like have to like. I just want to watch it as a show. I don't want to like have it try and like take me out of that show. Take me out of
that's what Scorsese wants. He wants you to break your brain every time you watch a movie. No, if it's not making you question life, it's not real cinema. You know.
So I saw the chat was talking about Stargirl a little bit, and then the idea of having the Justice Society of America on Stargirl. I think here's Mark talking about that. That would be a freaking awesome idea. I would love to see them incorporate more of those Justice Society. I mean, we're talking about that with Batman's Rogue Gallery. The same thing applies there.
Yeah,
let's get these old school heroes in. You have so many of these like really cool. Old school heroes, bring them in. Let's show them to the new audiences. Introduce them. Get more people to love your characters that you've been hiding away. Script Doctor's talking about a Ted Kord Blue Beetle show. That could be really fun too. I mean, they have so much stuff that they could just tap into.
Yeah, I think so. The amount of money they spent on that Blue Flash a few years ago, they could have used that same amount of money and done Clayface and Batwoman. I mean, come on.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, so is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
No, I recently just submitted the article for a lot of the Netflix shows, Marvel shows that got canceled, and there's some hopes that some of them might be coming back. I know there's a lot of buzz on the internet about Daredevil coming back. It's been the buzz on the internet, and it's really picked up recently because of Tom Hiddleston really promoting it. And then also
I saw something about Ben Barnes being like talked about to do a different Marvel superhero.
A Marvel superhero. He was in talks with the Marvel Studios, and then
what was the superhero? I didn't really like dig into it.
He didn't divulge.
Here it is. Newsarama saying Marvel Studios interested in new roles for Punisher's Ben Barnes. So he doesn't say. He just says
he's not going to be the Punisher. If he's not going to be the Punisher, well, I don't care.
No,
he's
Jigsaw. He was Jigsaw. Ben Barnes was Jigsaw in the Punisher. But he said here he told Digital Spy, I did talk to them about something this year, but it was a bit too close to doing the Punisher, I think, for them. But, they have proof that you can, particularly if it was on TV, you can go back and do a movie if there's a character that's right. That's not really much.
He's kind of right. Mahershala Ali.
Oh, yeah.
Cottonmouth.
Yeah. Cottonmouth, and he's Blade.
Well, they have no problem. They took Gemma Chan from Captain Marvel, and she's going to be in Eternals. So,
but she was blue, so she's not the same person. She's blue. Different people.
Yeah, they have no problems doing that, even within universe. So,
different people. It's blue. I'm just saying. Yeah. But they're doing the same thing. There's rumors of Vin Diesel actually getting to play Black Bolt.
I saw that too. Yeah, I know we were talking about Inhumans. I thought about that, but yeah, no.
You know what?
He wants to do that.
He's been
You
one.
know what's showing on day one on Disney Plus?
What's up?
That Inhumans. I will not be watching.
Wait, they're gonna bring that back?
Yeah, it's on the Collider has it on there. It says it's gonna be on Disney Plus.
Kill it with
I'm
fire.
surprised. Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Hide that thing. No one needs to see that.
I'm surprised Feige did not have that. Like,
I can't even finish watching that thing. Oh, horrible idea. Why would you do? If they do that, then I'm surprised they would. I would just hide it because there's no point. If you're going to try to oh no.
Okay, devil's advocate here.
Oh no, they're going to use it.
Remember how Thor: The Dark World was the worst out of the MCU like films, right? What if they're bringing the Inhumans back into people's memories just so people can have a connection of this is where Miss Marvel came from. Terrigen Mists is her.
That's what I'm afraid of. They're going to use it as lore, and that means it all matters. And that means it happened. I was fine with pretending it didn't happen, but now you're bringing it back. Then it happened, and it's real.
Yeah.
And then we have Gorgon walking into the ocean screaming for Triton. Like, you can't swim. You said that. Where are you going? He's not there. It didn't. Oh my gosh.
I mean, they had to say that Thor 2 happened.
I didn't hate the Dark World, to be honest.
Yeah, but a lot of people did.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you paid money to go watch it, I can understand being upset about that. I waited for it to come on. I think it was I either watched it on DVD or something. I didn't. I own it now because I bought it. I'm a kind of a completionist. I didn't have the first Thor, and I saw them being sold together on Amazon, and I bought them together just to complete my set. So, but I didn't have a problem with Dark World. I mean, especially the last part that Joss Whedon did. I thought it was great, especially the fight when they're falling through the portals and they're falling off the buildings and just scraping against the glass. It was hilarious. I thought this is great. But yeah, I didn't have a huge problem with Dark World. I just have a big problem with them. They're acknowledging Inhumans. I thought that was over. I didn't know it was going to be a thing. So,
but yeah, if they're going to acknowledge the stuff from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then
I'm all right with their acknowledging Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we could just ignore it. Inhumans happened. There was no connection there that I remember. Just let's keep it moving. It didn't happen.
Yeah, neither of those shows will be connected to MCU.
Yeah, over Feige's dead body.
Yeah, no way.
But they're showing it. They're showing it on the app.
That means it's gonna disappear off of Netflix too soon. But here's the thing: if Feige is the chief creative officer, what if he goes back and tries to retcon this stuff and try to make it work?
He does a Hickman?
Why? No, he'll be recast.
I liked Inhumans. I'm not Inhumans. Sorry, I take not Inhumans. Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry. No, not Inhumans. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's a couple seasons that were freaking boring, but the last 3 have been really good in my opinion.
Yeah, when Ghost Rider came in, I was just like, man.
Ghost Rider was a good arc. That was a really good arc.
Because they decided to spend money on the show too.
Yeah. That was really good. The effects were for TV, it was surprising. I was like, wow, this is really good stuff. And I like the fact they were doing it. They were shooting the show in arcs. Like half of the season was this, the other half is that. I thought that was dope. It was like a TV. It was like a comic book.
Right. Yeah. They would do their winter break, and then you would get the second arc in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like the only mainstream network show based for like that survived that long. That's a superhero.
7 seasons, man. Yeah.
Peggy Carter was canceled after 2, right? And then
was it 2 seasons?
Peggy Carter was 2 seasons.
And then Gifted was canceled after 2 as well, right?
Gifted. Yeah, it was 2.
And then
the funny thing is about the Gifted that they were teasing something at the end of 2 that they should have done at the beginning of 2. It was like, now you want to do this? You want to do Days of Future Past now? It's too late. You're not getting a 3rd season.
They were trying to get that hype build up, so maybe people will try and get it. I I didn't see Gifted going, especially after they announced that you started hearing stuff about the Fox Disney deal, and Marvel TV was involved with the Gifted. I knew that it was going away.
It was a month right after they announced the full thing that they just canceled it.
Yeah, when I heard it was getting bought, I was like, I remember telling someone like, if Disney buys Fox, Gifted is going to get canceled. Like, no, it's not. It's going to do what? Like, if Disney buys Fox, Gifted is not coming back. And sure enough, they're like, oh, yeah. I remember Emma, the one that plays Polaris, she's on Twitter saying how much she enjoyed the experience and how much she can't wait to get ready for season 3. I was like, there's not gonna be a season 3. You're so cute.
Yeah. She's hoping that Disney will revive it and like somehow incorporate it in.
They barely allowed you to do that series. You think they're going to bring it back? I mean, look at the characters they had in that show. You barely got to use what you had. The Von Struckers was your main focus of the show. Are you serious? The Fenris twins? I'm a huge X-Men fan, and I barely knew who the Fenris twins were. I knew it, but I was like, wow, that's a really deep cut.
I think that just shows like the depth of the X-Men though too. They took like a bunch of like super low level, no one really knew who they were, and created a show around them.
I'll say it again. Polaris cannot be your most popular character to run a show around. I'm sorry.
Not yet. Yeah. But no, I mean, I do think that the fact that they got 2 seasons out of the Gifted with such with the characters that they used, I mean, I think that just shows the depth of the X-Men roster and the strength of that franchise and that IP. I mean,
I'm trying to remember Thunderbird, Polaris, Blink.
Who was the light guy? Was he a new character?
They created him out of thin air. I don't understand. You have thousands upon thousands of X-Men characters, and you had to create Eclipse.
Yeah.
That was unnecessary.
That's like the dreadlock guy from Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that movie.
I didn't watch it. So I remember hearing about that. I was like, dreadlock guy. I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, dreadlock guy.
Was that part of the cucumber race?
Cucumber race.
No.
Or the broccoli race.
The broccoli.
Yeah.
Cucumber race. That's horrible. That's horrible. Oh, that's a horrible race. Cucumbers.
Script Doctor says the character's name was Dreadlock.
No, I don't believe you.
Please.
I don't believe you.
Oh my god!
I would say I'd have to watch the movie again to confirm, but
is that going to be on Disney+?
I'm good.
I don't know. I'm surprised.
I didn't watch it. Is it good? I wouldn't mind watching it technically for free or kind of for free. I'm not gonna go and.
I'm with you there. I'd probably turn it on just to see. It's not on Collider's list.
So if Inhumans is on there, does that mean they have to acknowledge it as canon?
There's like an asterisk. They have an asterisk next to that stuff. I don't know what that means.
So it means it's not canon?
Let me see what their asterisk is.
I'm interested in seeing what kind of excuse they're going to have if they're bringing in Miss Marvel. I mean, are they going to pull a miracle thing like they did with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver?
I think.
I saw they have Clone Wars on there too, which is maybe it's a number 6 for me.
For Star Wars, well, yeah, they're doing the news. They're finishing the season 2. Remember, they're finishing the series with they're doing a new season. It's like season 7, season 8 of Clone Wars, but that's not going to be live yet. I think that doesn't come until January. Collider doesn't explain why they have asterisks.
We didn't really get to talk about that nonsense of Storm and Black Panther.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
They shouldn't do it. They shouldn't do it.
I totally agree.
I mean, okay, listen. it happened in the comic books. It was barely embraced. I mean, they tried. Marvel tried to make it a really big deal. They even brought Eric Jerome Dickey, a novelist that I kind of grew up reading some of his stuff in high school because they forced us to have books to read during a class we had. And my mom had a book. I pulled it out. I was like, oh, it's a nice book. So I read another one. Another one. It's kind of trashy, but I read it. I said, yeah, I did. I read a chick novel. Read a bunch of them. Sue me. But they brought him in to write the comic book of a trashy novelist to write Storm and Black Panther. And I was like, okay, it happened, but was it necessary? No. You can look at it and be kind of insulted at it if you're Black. So you're telling me it's on the same lines of Black Panther and the Crew. Do you all remember that comic book that came out a couple years ago? Called Black Panther and the Crew.
That was the Ta-Nehisi Coates spinoff that that bombed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on the comic book shelf, and I remember like no one was buying. There was like a huge stack.
Oh my gosh.
And it was canceled after 6 issues or whatever.
What I hated about that is, right? No, it was supposed to be ongoing. It turned into a miniseries. What they call it.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Because I knew it got canceled after like 5 or 6 issues.
What I couldn't stand about that is I don't like this idea of that all the Black characters in Marvel know each other and they all get along. Like that's nonsense. It felt forced.
All the heroes, you mean?
All the Black heroes.
Okay.
Storm, Luke Cage, Falcon, Black Panther, for whatever reason, is not in Wakanda. He's in New York City doing stuff, and they're all friends. And it was like, why?
Is that when he was part of the Defenders?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was like it was stupid. So going along those lines is like, so you have two characters that happen to be from Africa, and they happen to be heroes, and they have to know each other, and then have to fall in love and get married. Really?
Yeah, it's just.
And then we're gonna retcon them as friends, as childhood friends. It's like, come on, man. She was born in New York. She moved. She and her parents moved to Africa. She got stuck in Cairo, became a slave to the Shadow King. He grew up in Wakanda for the entirety of his life in royalty. How the hell does this happen?
Yeah, you think. I mean, all those these stories you see with like royalty and his parents would try and keep her away from him.
Reverse Aladdin. That's what we're doing. Come on, man. Yeah. I wasn't a fan of the pairing. I thought it was kind of it was too on the nose. I wasn't feeling it. And then the reason for it, and then when they kind of erased it from existence. And then when Black Panther becomes a thing and people know who he is and he has a movie, they're trying to bring it back. I'm like, no, stop it. Don't. Then all these fake fans like, oh yeah, they were together. Like, stop it. You can't even bring up an actual scene where you knew they were together. And it was a big deal. It happened in his books and no one talked about it ever in X-Men.
We're seeing a lot of that. These rumors with we're seeing it with Captain Marvel too. They're bringing in like the kind of like Peter Parker romance, and I just saw maybe not a romance with Peter Parker, but
weird.
it like looked like infatuation, I guess is what the rumor was. And then I just saw another one where they're like with another Captain Marvel where they might make her a lesbian, and but we're seeing that with Storm too, and in this Black Panther thing where they're trying to like
force it.
We're talking. These rumors are about their relationships for these sequel movies, and we already have kind of a romantic relationship developed in the first Black Panther.
I think he married. Didn't he marry the girl? She's his queen now, isn't she?
Nakia?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they got married.
No, they didn't get married.
I thought he like sent her to work in the United States at that park that he built, right?
At the same time, at the end of the movie, he was at a press conference and she's at his side. I mean, that's kind of weird for not someone that you're not married to, to be in the UN, summit. So I thought that was. It's just unnecessary in my opinion. It's just all very unnecessary, especially for that reason. Do you already have a completed love interest?
Same with Spider-Man. You have Zendaya, MJ.
Yeah, there you go.
So
But
it's like,
then it can't be that again. Here's the thing. They can, if they're gonna do this right, it could be funny, it could be cute. Brie Larson is not a bad looking woman. Having a crush on her is not the end of the world. But they're not doing it organically. They're not doing it to push a story along. They're doing it to boost her popularity with fans. That's what they're doing it for. So it's not necessary.
Fan service shipping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what these rumors. I mean, these rumors are. It seems what they're buying into. They're trying to buy into these these shipping ideas, and you're seeing it in Star Wars too. The whole like Reylo thing, which
what the hell happened to Finn? Wasn't that whole first movie about that?
He's got
don't say it.
The new lady with the horse charging. That's what it looks like. I mean, he's charging across he's right next to her, a little bit behind her, charging with the horse.
The one black man in the Star Wars universe finds the one black woman in the Star Wars universe. Come on, man. This is just it's on the nose. It's just too much. Like for instance, if Marvel really wants to go woke, in the comic books, Captain Marvel has a thing with Rhodey. You got both the characters. They both got military backgrounds. They got a lot in common. They had a little chippy thing in Endgame, or was it in Endgame? Play off of it. No. Let's think about making her gay and put her with Valkyrie. I heard about that stupid rumor. Fans trying to push that.
Yeah,
I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, especially that would work really well in the MCU as well, because you have that deep relationship that Iron Man and Rhodey have. Obviously they can't do it because if they do Civil War 2, Iron Man's dead, but can't really do that. But,
that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem.
But if they did like the Civil War 2 storyline and Captain Marvel like puts Tony in like a coma, they could switch it around there,
and they can give Tony's part to Rhodey, and
that would make it even more interesting if they're like lovers and then they're
on different sides. Exactly.
Stuff. Yeah, that could be really good drama.
Because you got Rhodey, he's all about being a soldier. He's still part of the U.S. military, and then you have this other chick who left.
Though? Is he still?
He was in Infinity War. He was. I don't know Endgame, everyone kind of stopped being what they were because half the world died. So, but in Infinity War, he was still taking orders from General Ross.
Ross snapped out of existence?
We don't know.
Okay.
Was he on the board with the flashing faces? I don't know. I didn't see.
Yeah.
Save some money. Like, it's a funny thing about the Infinity War and the snap. I was talking to my wife. I was like, yeah, half of that was going to save money on actors. Like they go from recurring roles to just being cameos, so you pay them less. It's a cost saving plot. Cost saving.
Yeah. But that is interesting. Because in Endgame, it was like Black Widow was running like secret ops out of wherever she was. I forget where they were.
They were at Avengers HQ, right?
Yeah, eating peanut butter sandwiches and growing out her blonde hair. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she shaved it off when she was. Are you talking about Black Widow with the blonde hair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Captain Marvel was long then too, right? And then she went off into space and cut it off when she came back.
Yeah. I have a theory about the Black Widow movie. I hope they do, because they see Black Widows has a fan base. I hope what they're gonna do is the Black Widow that we saw die was a Skrull. That's what I'm hoping. And then at some point
she's dead.
I prefer she stay dead. I'm sorry.
I think Disney's about making money.
I'm sorry, Black Widow fans. No.
She's dead. They're going to introduce Yelena Belova.
You think
as
so?
The new Black Widow. Yeah, that's already confirmed. What's her name is playing Yelena Belova in the Black Widow movie.
That's sad. Scarlett's still so young.
She's producing though. Florence Pugh is playing Yelena Belova in the Black Widow movie, and then there was leaked audio from San Diego Comic-Con, I think, where you
Mhm.
hear Scarlett's character talking to, like, mentions Yelena by name. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And I
Still no
think
footage for that movie though.
not yet. Well,
when does it come out?
They released footage at San Diego Comic-Con, but they haven't done anything for us outside of that. I think it says May 1, 2020.
Oh wow, that's
Uh,
not far. I
yeah,
mean,
you would think that they, especially after they did all the criticisms of Solo, was that there wasn't enough advertisement for it leading up to it, and you didn't get a first trailer until like January or whatever for it. Like
maybe they're
we're
doing.
closing in on that with Black Widow now, so we're gonna
Maybe
prove
they're
that
doing.
theory wrong too.
Maybe they're doing some reshoots because, hey, the woke pendulum is kind of starting to shift in the other direction, and I think Disney is getting tired of bleeding money. If they remember, the director said that she wasn't interested in comic book movies before she had this movie,
Oh,
and
that was a
how
scriptwriter, yeah.
yeah, how she was going to do how she was. This is going to be her something activism or something, whatever. What if Disney was like, that's not woke isn't selling anymore. Let's pull that back some, reshoot some of this. It's not that expensive.
Well, when you're seeing Joker make almost $1 billion, and
it's going to hit $1 billion.
You're seeing Terminator crash and burn. You see Men in Black crash and burn. You see all of these other like woke films crashing and burning, and you see Joker, which kind of did a little bit of, I don't know. It was, I don't even know. Like, there wasn't any like wokeness in it. But it wasn't like anti-woke either. Although I think some people have. There's some people have,
arguments.
I think you can make an argument for it, but I don't think it's like in your face, like this is anti-woke, you know?
If you go if you're like Mark Bernardin and you like just dive into why are all these female black women that he goes to just these points of disappointment for his life. If you go into it like that, then you're going to see some problems with the movie. I didn't see any problem with it, but apparently he did.
You talking about a guy that asked if it was going to incite violence or something?
Mark Bernardin, he does
hosts
the Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else? Zazie Beetz and the Doctor, right? Is that it? Isn't that it?
3 of the Zazie Beetz, the first psychiatrist, and then that second psychiatrist that he kills at the end of the movie, or it's implied that he kills at the end of the movie.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought
he was black too.
I didn't think he killed her though. I didn't get that implication.
Remember the bloody footprints that he left behind while he was walking?
Oh, I guess when he's like running around the wall, like he got out, so she would try and detain him. Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah.
I don't know. That's weird. I thought the Zazie Beetz stuff was kind of like positive moments for him, even though it was revealed to be a figment of his delusion.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that was like really a disappointment. He like enjoyed those times.
There was another one too. The black woman on the bus.
Oh, telling him like not to talk to his kid.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess.
Yeah, but then if you try to break it down, it's like all the people in his life were really disappointing. His mother, Thomas Wayne,
kids who beat him on the street. I don't know.
It's more than just minorities. It's the entire environment of Gotham at that time is just not good for somebody especially somebody with mental illness. That's the lesson I took away from it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do think that you're seeing that woke stuff is not doing well right now. People are they're not going to see it. I think Charlie's Angels is going to be the next one to fail abysmally. And I think you're right about that, Philip. I think that trend is going to continue. So they might be doing some reshoots. We'll see what happens.
It looks like a pretty on the ground kind of movie. So the reshoots probably aren't going to break the bank, you know.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it can't be that hard. I mean, it looks like it's just it should be a spy movie, so you wouldn't think that there could be a lot of wokeness in that, but who knows? And Birds of Prey looks like it's going to be absolutely horrible too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Other than the trailer I watched, the last 15 seconds was the only thing that had any life to it.
Yeah, with Harley throwing the dynamite.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's straight out of the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Everything else was just
100% in there.
Just replace that young girl with Poison Ivy, and it's that one episode that I can't really remember.
Oh, yeah. That was a later episode. Like the Batman and Robin. I remember that. Yeah, that was a great episode.
Script Doctor is saying that they changed the girlfriend neighbor character from the script. She was real in the script, but just being nice to him, no relationship. In fact, Arthur walks in on her with her boyfriend. So he's talking about the Joker script.
Oh, so originally it was supposed to be more than just a figment of his imagination.
Well, yeah. So he's saying that she was just someone who was being nice to him, like would meet him on the elevator and be like give him a smile or whatever, and but they didn't like go on a date or anything. And I actually thought that's what was going to happen. I thought in Joker you were going to see him walk in on her with another man at one point when it was obvious that scene was going to happen. Like that's what I thought right before it happened when she walked in. I thought she was gonna walk when he was like just sitting there on the couch. I thought she might have like walk in with another guy or something.
I think it was more impactful.
Just by herself. No,
it was more impactful.
Yeah, I think the way they did it was really well. But I just thought that like it would have been. I don't know. It could have been even more devastating if another guy walked in and that would have just crushed him even more. You know, because he thought he was like in a relationship with her or like had imagined it. But no, I thought it still played off really well. He's saying the relationship was just a friend thing. She went to his show, and afterwards, the conversation between the two was painfully awkward, and that's as far as it goes with them.
Mm.
That was after his. No, I think I'm glad they rewrote that because
I think that would have confused us a little more.
I actually like that he thought that he was did well in that scene that he gets mocked in, because that's the clip that De Niro's character takes and uses to mock him, but he thinks that he does well, and she's like he believes that she's supporting him, the fake character. I thought that worked out well.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're getting close to midnight here.
Yep.
So let's wrap it up. Don, you want to pitch your YouTube channel?
Search Dollfied, DOLLFIED. The letters on the screen don't really reflect it that well, but it's like a doll. Dollfied.
Yeah, it's not like.
Also, my Twitter handle. Oh, Gina Carano retweeted my endorsement for her to be She-Hulk.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
That was fun.
All right, I need to find that tweet because we can write a story about that. I mean, she's already there in Disneyland.
I mean, she's already in The Mandalorian. So.
Right.
Oh, they like keeping it in the family.
Yeah, give her more work.
Definitely do. It's like old school Hollywood where they had contracts with the studios.
Yeah, I remember that. You only see one. You'll see an actor just keep like New Line Cinema had. Who was it that always got movies with New Line Cinema? Was it Kevin Smith that had a bunch of movies from them?
What's this
I don't.
with?
I remember someone just kept getting what you can just do no wrong for that student, just kept getting movies after one after the other.
All right, Phil. Do you want to? Do you got anything that you want to pitch or
Nothing right now. Just look out for the articles I put out. I think I submitted 2 tonight, so they'll be going out over the next couple of days, I'm sure.
I know you had one in draft, so I was just waiting for you to.
Yeah, finished it up earlier, so it should be ready to go for you.
Sweet. I'll get to that tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
I got a big 1800 in there in draft too.
All right, sweet. I'll look for that too. All right. Well, we do this every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, Balancing Live, where we talk about the interesting topics of the week. And next week on Tuesday, we'll be doing Mandalorian live stream. What do you got to say there, Don?
Yeah, I'll be doing it.
All right. So yeah, we're doing the Mandalorian live stream Tuesdays. I haven't set a time yet. It'd probably be in the evening, but it'll be me, Don, Drew. We're gonna get Script Doctor on here. Did you want to join in too, Phil, for that?
I'll see what I can do. I'll let you know early before then.
All right, so we'll figure that out. Probably be Tuesday evenings, maybe 8-9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll see. We'll try and work with you, Don. I know you're West Coast.
Yeah.
So we'll try and do that. So look forward to that on Tuesdays, and then again Wednesdays 9 o'clock Eastern, and then I usually we usually have a video up every day throughout the week. So, and then we got new articles up every single day on boundingincomics.com. So make sure you check that out when you wake up and when you go to bed. All right. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. See you.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.
And gone.